What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 14 of the Game Room Podcast. I'm your host, Rome, alongside with my co-hosts. First, we have Dev. How you doing tonight, Dev?
Hey, what's up?
Okay.
Well,
And my other co-host, Forrest. How are you doing tonight, Forrest?
I got peanut butter. I'm happy.
There you go. We also have producer Jeff here on the ones and twos. Producer Jeff, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for asking.
All right. Well, guys, we have a really fun show lined up tonight. Some of the news headlines we're talking about tonight is a Sony State of Play coming soon. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Season 2 launches this week. Is it any good? Producer Jeff and I are going to talk about it, and we're going to go over last week's Nintendo Direct. Let's jump right into the news headlines. First up tonight, Nintendo is giving all of its employees a 10% pay raise. So it's a funny contrast to what we normally talk about here on the show, because the last few weeks have been, hey, every company is awful. They're laying off employees. They're having unfair pay structures. They're doing, if you guys have been here with it, you know what we're talking about. Just bad companies doing things to their employees. Nintendo, on the other hand, despite the fact that they are cutting their profits, their profit expectations are not, they're lowering. They're still giving their employees a 10% pay raise. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's awesome. It is weird to see, like, hey, we're not going to be making much money, but here's 10% raise. Like, you don't see that happening.
I just think it's
Our profits are going to be dwindling. Here's more money. That doesn't happen often with almost any company. Well, not dwindling.
well,
Yeah,
we'll talk about that, because there is a caveat to that.
Yeah, and
It costs $70. Sure. Well, so we were going to talk about it when we got to the Direct. However, the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the $70 price tag, Nintendo's gone on record saying that not every game will be priced that way. Pikmin 4, which is coming out in July, is priced at $60. The Metroid Prime remake that Shadow dropped last week during the Direct, it was $40. Nintendo made it very clear that they get to dictate their prices. At the end of the day, I mean, we're going to talk about it when we get to the Direct, but producer Jeff brings it up, so we're going to talk about it. I think that there is no other company in the world that will get as little complaint about a price increasing their games than Nintendo. It's like, okay, Zelda is going to be $70, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Zelda fan. I'm saying this because it's Nintendo. When Nintendo was losing money, Satoru Iwata, their president, literally, instead of cutting employees' pay or like laying off employees, he cut his pay rate, his own pay salary, in half. Like, this is just what Nintendo does. This is the culture that they have there. And I understand where producer Jeff's coming from. Like, well, they are raising Zelda to $70. It's very true, they are. Games are expensive though, and it took them 6 years to make this game. And if there is any developer / publisher in the world who I'm going to have faith in the quality of the product they're putting out, it's going to be Nintendo.
I think I agree with that. Quality-wise, they don't miss very often.
No, very rarely. No, never.
So,
except for Pokemon, last like 2 months ago.
but unfortunately, they don't own Game Freak.
Yeah, they only
have a partnership with
them. They own half of Pokemon with Game Freak.
So,
but even then, I mean, people love Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So, like, what are we talking about here? We did a tier list last week, which you should check it out here on youtube.com / the Broken Tables Podcast. We argued whether Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was an S or an A. So clearly, Nintendo, regardless, even if it's by a degree of separation, they still hit.
Battles making an S. I'm just saying.
No, I get it. Again, I'm just saying. But I mean, yeah, I think that this is great for them. And while yes, they are raising their prices, they are expecting to have lower revenue, which is understanding based off what we saw at the Direct and also other things that we're going to talk about when we get to the main topic of the show. But I thought this would be it is a positive note to start off of. I think this is a pretty positive show overall. This felt like a good thing to start with after all the weeks and weeks and weeks of video game companies doing bad things to their employees.
Yeah. No, it's actually good that they're getting a raise, but That's how it should be. Like Nintendo should be the example, not the exception.
I think they set the example more times than not.
Yeah, no, and I get that, and I'm saying like, okay, so now it's time. Everybody else start following.
No, but the problem is that what people are going to do is they're going to be like, well, Nintendo raised their game to $70.
Yeah, that's the part
Yeah.
they're gonna copy.
I guess we're going to do the same. Well, to be fair, they weren't nearly the first to do this. Sony did it first. Activision did it. EA, I believe, is doing it. 2K is doing it. Xbox is going to be starting to do it this year, although if you get Game Pass, it kind of deflects that. But you know, they're hardly the first people to raise the price.
I have a question. I have a question for both of you, actually.
Sure.
Do you think we will see $100 game, like $100 for games in our lifetime?
Not without like collectibles.
Not like a deluxe edition, like same way how 70 is about to be the new standard. In our lifetime, do you think $100 for a disc for your console, a game, will be $100 a piece?
Great question. I would say it really depends on inflation. I don't think that the cost of I don't think video game publishers, quite frankly, I'm just gonna say it, I don't think they have the balls to charge that much. I mean, $70 is a big investment as it is. I don't see video game companies charging 100 for a base game. I think that that's a surefire way to fail. I think even your most popular, like there are gonna, like if Nintendo did that for Zelda, there would be a lot of gamers who could just straight up not afford it. They would just be like, I would love to, but I can't. But that being said, I think inflation is something that you have to take into account there. I think that matters.
No, I agree with that, but so everything has been inflated this last year. Everything, food, groceries, bread, eggs, milk, everything.
Yeah.
Like now video games are doing it. We have yet to get our pay to catch up to this inflation.
Correct.
So I'm just that not even so just like okay, so we know that this is how the world works. We're all adults now. We understand things get more expensive as time goes on. It's just not so just let's just assume all things go to stay as they are. Like I honestly can see by the PS7 or 8 there will be $100 games that are just base games, not even DLC. They're still going to be releasing them unfinished, probably even more unfinished.
See, I would disagree with that just strictly because I think when inflation gets that high, that's when we have what they call a recession. I'm not an economic expert by any means. I mean, you can ask our high school teacher. I was not very good at AP economics, but then again, it was AP, so what did you expect? But no, prices get that high, inflation get that high, like people just can't afford goods and services, and then the markets collapse. So
yeah.
And another thing is a lot of things are moving digital, and companies are saving money when people buy digitally,
and they're making more money because they're still charging the full retail price.
They're still charging the $60-$70,
which is the thing that I really have.
I never expected it to get cheaper when you buy digital because
It should get cheaper.
But why?
Yeah. Because you're cutting out a physical product. Here's the thing: when you buy a physical game, number one, the retailer gets a cut. Number two, you have to pay to produce all of those cases, all of those discs. Is it cheap in a minuscule micro sense? Sure, but if you're talking about printing thousands upon thousands, that's how these work. They don't just print 10 copies of a game and ship them out. They print millions of millions.
Why would you do that in just the gaming market? When if you buy a music CD, you're still paying full price whether you get it straight off of Apple Plus or you buy it with a disc. You get a movie if you can download, you can add the Blu-ray or you can
How
buy.
much are you paying for downloaded movies? You're not paying $30 for a downloaded movie.
No, not $30.
Well, that's how much Blu-rays cost. I know because I buy Blu-rays. Like $30. Not the same thing.
About streaming it.
Regardless,
music doesn't change price just because you buy it digitally.
It doesn't matter. Regardless, you got to look at it this way: like they have the middleman, they have the retailer that they have to pay. They have to pay for the transportation of the physical copies. They have to pay for the creation of the physical copies. So like all of this extra cost, if you get rid of that, games shouldn't cost what they cost. No, that's factual. Retailers take up 20% of the cut of a game. That's why they're sending them. Let's check out the chat. All right, TJ's here. What's up, TJ? He does agree with us on Nintendo. Nintendo's quality. Euro games isn't an issue. This is only happening though because everyone else is doing it. Xbox and PlayStation. Purple says, I think everything eventually will all be digital. And I don't know how you can change that for a digital copy. Charge that for a digital copy. But I wouldn't be surprised if in the future it does go up to 100. TJ says games were 60 for a long time. Adjusted for inflation, they were in the 80s or so, I believe. There might be a rise in AAA games, but that's when AA games and indie games will become more dominant. Purple says she never thought the games would see 60 or 70.
Vividly remember Mario Party 4 being $40.
I
That
remember
is just, for some reason stuck in my brain.
I remember Twilight Princess was 50.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember a lot of the 50 price tag games too, and then
I think that was like the last game that I bought that was 50. Was Twilight Princess. I think. Maybe I'm no, because the Wii's entire life I think was 50, right?
Yeah, everything on the Wii was 50.
Okay, so then no, the Twilight Princess wasn't the last one, but it was close. Because I only bought like 5 games from it. So, and most of them were not at launch. I think Skyward Sword is probably the last Wii game I bought. But that was a special edition with the gold Wii mode, so that definitely wasn't 50 for me. Anyways, and Blitz says hi is here. Hi, Blitz.
He's one of mine.
Oh, what's up, Blitz? Coming over from Forrest's side of the tracks. Yeah, seriously. He's like, oh, no. Anyways, Blitz says, considering that Nintendo is quickly hitting the limits of what their hardware can do, I'd feel way more comfortable paying premium price for games on a Switch Pro. I agree too, and I think like that's the thing. Like when Nintendo said, "Hey, Tears of the Kingdom, $70," I was like, "All right." I'm sorry. It's going to be a 10 out of 10 game. Like, is there any real Devroro, do you have any real doubt that Tears of the Kingdom isn't going to be a home run? I have zero doubt.
So the only thing I have doubts on with that game is performance, especially on our current Switches.
Sure, but the game itself.
The game itself, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
But I'm saying I agree with Blitz is saying, whereas like this game is going to come out, like they're going to have whatever the Switch successor, and this game is going to come out again for that. Like it's just a given. We're going to have to pay for it again, and it's going to be another $70, which sucks. But we're going to. I mean, I'm going to do it. I know you're going to do it for it, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you.
Well, I'm lucky because I'm not going to buy the game. I'm not going to buy the Zelda game, and I can wait to get the console.
See,
what if they have terror raids?
What if they have terror raids for us?
Oh shit! You know what? If they have terror raids on the new one right away, I'm gonna get it.
Forrest goes into Discord every day, which for everyone else hanging out with us, go to our Discord. We have a lot of fun conversations there. Forrest goes into Discord every day trying to get me upset about terror raid bells. And you know what I do? I actually take a page out of your book, Dev. I just like okay, and I close Discord. It's like, all right, he's gonna try to get the best of me. He's not going to succeed. Although today would have been a great day to get me. He would have got me today. Today is fucking terrible. Yeah. But he didn't do it today, so missed opportunity on his part.
I get you. I'm legitimate. Terror raids make it better.
Anyways, yeah. So I don't know. I don't see it going to 100. Let's move on. Number 2 in our headlines: Fable has reached a playable state, according to its producer.
That's true. Yeah.
The next Fable title has now reached a playable state, according to its producer. The new benchmark regarding the game's progress was shared on LinkedIn by Playground Games producer Vijay Gill. The producer, who is leading production relating to the game's cross-discipline work stream consisting of gameplay design, technical design, gameplay animation, engineering, VFX, SFX, UI, and more, updated their profile to list new details about their work on the game. According to Gill's experience section, his work includes preparing and facilitating regular game playthroughs and build reviews with key stakeholders. While that doesn't indicate that Fable will be arriving anytime soon, it is a notable marker for the game's progress at the studio. Fable was entirely absent from the recent Xbox and Bethesda developer conference, which laid out details and release dates relating to the major Xbox releases like Redfall for the year ahead. I'm very excited for Fable. I think Playground Games, this is out of their wheelhouse, but I could see them definitely making this pivot. They definitely seem like a very strong developer.
Yeah.
The Forza Horizon games are always very well received, both by fans and critics. And I have faith in this game. My biggest regret is I wish that Xbox. I understand why they had to, but I wish Xbox hadn't shown this off as early as they did.
I mean, they just gave it a trailer and that's it.
That's true.
So, like, no date, no expectations. Hey, we're working on Fable. That's all we needed.
Yeah, but the problem is in the games industry, both in the fan, even more so from the fan community side, as soon as you say anything, there's
Yeah, of
always going to
course,
be an
of
expectation.
I'm just glad they're not doing yearly updates. They disappeared. They told us the game was coming. It's being worked on, and it disappeared. I like that.
That's
what
a
you
good
gotta
point.
do.
That's a good point.
When
Yeah.
they show the next trailer, that's when the clock starts. You know.
I forget, Forrest, did you play Fable?
Yes, but I only played it for like 20 minutes because I got pissed off that I had to walk on a track.
You got pissed off you had to walk on a track?
Yeah, it was like this line, and I had to like follow the line. I was like trying to go into the trees and shit, and it wouldn't let me.
Well, that's just the quest line. You don't have to follow it. That's the golden quest line you can follow.
Wait, seriously? You followed the quest marker and you didn't realize you didn't have to follow the quest marker?
No. It was like I was trying to walk off the path, but I couldn't go into the grass. And
Was it like
then
the first 5 minutes of the game?
probably.
Well, yeah, you got to play the intro of the game. Like that's just
Yeah,
that's how.
no, I wasn't gelling with that at that exact day, and then I just returned it.
Well, it's funny because I actually, when we get to the game releases, I actually have a confession. It's a story that you guys will appreciate because it has to do with someone we went to high school with. But we'll get there. It's not like a super dicey story. It's a funny story about a game that's coming out. It's a remake, but we'll see. Anyways, let's move on. It's time for Forrest's favorite part of the show. Forrest, you know what we're about to talk about?
No, no.
Okay, well, so Forrest, I actually did us all a favor this time. So we are going to talk about Activision Blizzard,
Oh my god.
but I put all of them together today to make it one.
Tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad. A lot of these are really short. I'm going to run through these and we'll just give our takes real quick. These aren't really very long for the most part. So firstly, Microsoft, they want a lot of documents from Sony for this FTC case, and Sony's not happy, as Xbox or Microsoft has sent them a 55-page set of demands. Sony's not happy. They said Microsoft's subpoena to SIE, which is Sony if you're not aware, is truly massive. Since receiving it, SIE has engaged in 5 meet and confers with Microsoft, served a 55-page set of detailed written responses and objections at Microsoft's demand, and had extensive correspondence with Microsoft. On the evening of February 1st of this year, SIE and Microsoft generally agreed that SIE would produce files from 7 identified custodians, but numerous additional scope issues remained. SIE requested an extension of time to resolve these, but Microsoft has refused unless SIE agreed to file a partial motion to quash on the issue of Microsoft's choice 2 days later. This gamesmanship by Microsoft is inefficient and inappropriate. Going on to another update that came from the Financial Times this past week, Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick said that Sony has stopped talking to anyone at Microsoft in regards to agreements over the Activision Blizzard acquisition deal. There was a little bit of an update after I made the script, or this part of the script, where apparently Sony said, "What are you guys talking about? We are talking to Microsoft." But I don't know if Bobby Kotick would just straight up say that if there wasn't some sort of lapse of communication there. Our next little bit is so let's stop right there real quick and get your guys' takes because the next part is kind of a slightly separate thing. What do you guys think about this game of chess right now, where Microsoft's like, all right, guys, you want to sue us? You want to make a big deal? We need 55 pages worth of shit. Well, no, the list is 55 pages.
Do it.
Sony has been saying. I think they recently also came out last week. They claimed that Microsoft has been harassing them. When I guess, and I don't know. I
know.
And Activision came out and said, "Well, Sony's trying to sabotage us all." So it's just like, It's just annoying. Just be done with it. Just kiss already. Damn.
Just kiss and make up.
Sexual tension's too high.
Forrest, what would you do if somebody gave you a 55-page list of things that they needed from you?
That's not even a lot for two
Give up.
companies. Like 55.
Yeah, but Sony's acting like, this is ridiculous. This is outrageous. We have things to do.
It's a $70 billion loss. Like, buy it. 55 things is. That's come on.
I mean, also to be fair, I mean, Sony's the one that made a big fuss about this. They're the one that went to the
This
FTC
is
and
like medicine. This is them getting their bitter ass medicine.
this is Chester.
I'm down for this. I think this is the right kind of petty. Like this is hilarious. This is good news. This is good news. Sending them a 55-page list of just extra documents they'd have to produce. Shit, just to not like I would let it go. I would just like stop at that point, just to not do all this extra paperwork. And then if they do all this extra paperwork, what's to stop Microsoft from just sending back even more?
So, Dev, this doesn't mean anything to you, but when I read this about Microsoft and the 55-page list, producer Jeff and Forrest will know what I'm talking about. I instantly thought of Chris Jericho's 1,004 moves list. So Chris Jericho, pro wrestler, he goes. This was back in like the '90s, WCW. He goes and he cuts a promo, and there was this other wrestler called Dean Malenko, and Dean Malenko called himself the man of 1,000 holds because he knew 1,000 wrestling moves. Chris Jericho was like, Dean Malenko, you call yourself the man of 1,000 holds? Well, I counted all the holds I know, and I know way more than you. I know 1,057, and I'm gonna list them all right now. And he grabs his paper, and the list just drops. And he's like, number 1, arm bar. Number 2, arm drag. Number 3, the spinning Saskatchewan claw snap or something like that. And then they cut the commercial and they come back and he's like, number 785, arm bar. That's just what it made me think of. It's really really good.
It's
Anyways,
great.
TJ in the chat, Microsoft stepping up, about time. PlayStation has never played nice. This makes sense. It feels this is lawyers talking now and not Phil and his team. Good. I agree. I think that Microsoft absolutely should be clapping back. Sony wanted to make this a big thing, so now it's a big thing. Moving on, Microsoft and Activision did release a response to the UK government's concern over the deal. Microsoft and Activision both responded to the competitions and market authorities' concerns over the acquisition. The UK government CMA published its provisional findings last week on February 8th, which raised concerns over the deal potentially leading to higher prices, fewer choices, and less innovation for gamers. Xbox exclusivity over Activision's premier franchise Call of Duty was frequently mentioned in the report, but Microsoft has maintained its desire to bring these games to other platforms. They said, "We are committed to offering effective and easily enforceable solutions that address the CMA's concerns," said Microsoft Corporate Vice President and Deputy General Counsel Rima Ali. That's a great title. That's a long title. Microsoft Corporate Vice President and Deputy General Counsel. Well, it means that they're the corporate vice president and they are also the deputy general counsel.
Okay.
Well, yeah, what does a deputy general counsel do? I'll admit I have no idea what that does. They go on to say, our commitment to grant long-term 100% equal access to Call of Duty to Sony, Nintendo, Steam, and others preserves the deal's benefits to gamers and developers and increases competition in the market. 75% of respondents to the CMA's public consultation agree that the deal is good for competition in UK gaming. Our last little leg of the update kind of piggybacks off of this, where some analysts have predicted that Xbox Activision Blizzard deal will close soon despite these UK objections. Shortly after the CMA published its provisional findings, which we just mentioned, analysts Nick McKay and Michael Pachter, well, I remember I actually used to watch Michael Pachter back in the day. He was a pretty prominent like YouTube guy, like early gaming YouTube. But anyways, they released this statement. This was last week. We read today's release as a signal that the UK knows it has a losing legal argument. In our view, the FTC figured this out late last year and rushed to file suit to block the merger in hopes of being the first to extract concessions from Microsoft. We believe that the CMA reached the same conclusion during its review and accelerated its formal objection to the deal and proposed remedies in order to step in front of the FTC and gain bragging rights. The FTC has yet to offer proposed remedies, and the CMA, by listing onerous structural remedies, has positioned itself to be the dragon slayer in this action. We expect Microsoft's acquisition of Activision to close no later than mid-May. I thought this was actually a really great take by guys who actually like study how these corporations work and how the games industry works on an industry side. They're basically saying that while Microsoft and Sony are currently waging a petty war, you have the CMA and the FTC knowing that they're not going to stop this deal, but they're doing it so they can be like, we were the ones that made this deal good for everybody. And I think that that's really funny.
It is.
That's why I wanted to share it. I thought this is all just a big fucking game to everybody. Like, Forrest is over here pulling his hair out, having the worst time. He comes on the podcast every week knowing we're going to talk about this. And it's just a game to everyone. They're all laughing at you, Forrest.
I did hear that
It's fine.
they had like a list of issues they had with the deal, and Microsoft keeps coming up with solutions, but nobody wants to look at it. They're like,
Exactly.
we don't see that. We just
Sony too. It's like, hey, Sony, here's a 10-year deal for starters, and they're like, I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm signing that. We want to make sure Call of Duty's on PlayStation for the next 10 years. Here's the deal. It says 10 years, but does it mean 10 years? No, it does. It's a legally binding contract.
Yeah, just make it longer.
You
Do it over with.
you kind of can't though. Like in business,
10 years, 55
no
pages.
contract can stay forever.
Did I say for 20 years? What's wrong with 20 years?
Whatever. You're right. Okay, that's fine. 20 years.
Yeah.
But
2
I think
decades.
at the end of the day, that is bad business though. Like you do have to kind of keep renewing deals. Like
If
who
that
knows
was
what
going
could
to happen
happen?
anyway, just make it a contract.
What if Sony came out like in 15 years and they were like, you know what, we liked Hitler. So you don't want to do business with those. You don't. It's like Kanye. Like
No, he plays the Nazis now. What do you mean? It's not that difficult.
Anyways, let's move on. Number 4 on the news headlines. We have some updates on AEW Fight Forever. The first was a tweet coming from Andrew Zarian, the wrestling media. He spoke to an old colleague who is deep in the gaming world. They mentioned to Andrew Zarian that AEW Fight Forever is currently slated for a Q2 of this year, quarter 2 of this year, release. That would kind of coincide with what we talked about last week about the GameStop signage. Q2, April, sounds about right. Also, AEW Fight Forever finally, after many tries, secured its T for Teen rating.
Yay.
So this comes from WrestleZone.com. A major hurdle preventing the release of AEW Fight Forever has been cleared. Earlier this month, it was revealed that issues with securing the teen rating for AEW Fight Forever had prevented the announcement of a release date for the game. Fight Forever had been planned to release as early as September of last year, and at one point we expected it to, and was expected to release later this month in February. But the issues with the ESRB have been fixed, and AEW Fight Forever officially secured its T for Teen rating. Excuse me. The following is the description of AEW Fight Forever according to the ESRB. This is a wrestling game in which players compete in matches with wrestlers from the AEW roster. Players use punches, kicks, and grappling maneuvers to drain their opponent's health. In some matches, e.g. barbed wire, stadium stampede, and unsanctioned matches, players can use barbed wired, baseball bats, metal chairs, and Molotov cocktails against opponents, eventually resulting in submission and/or knockouts. Blood splatter effects can occur during matches, staining the mats. Video footage of real matches also depict blood on wrestlers' faces and bodies. The game contains some mildly suggestive material. Female wrestlers in revealing outfits, e.g. deep cleavage, bunny outfits, shout out to the bunny, partially exposed buttocks, wrestlers performing taunting gestures like the crotch chop and slapping buttocks. Real footage sometimes depicts wrestlers drinking alcohol and smoking. The word shit is heard in the game.
Oh
I'm
no.
surprised that all of this made it into the game and the ESRB finally gave it a T. Because the big thing was the blood. It was the blood that apparently was getting the M rating.
I'm sure they had to turn it down a bit.
Yeah.
Are there Molotov cocktails that I just
Um,
missed out on?
I don't think I've ever. I mean, not in maybe in CZW, maybe in deathmatch wrestling. Producer Jeff, have you ever seen a wrestling match where they used a Molotov cocktail as a weapon?
I cannot say that I have, but I'm assuming the idea came from the gas can with people with lighters. You know what I mean? And they were
Yeah.
like, "How do we do this in a game?"
I bet you Eddie Kingston was like, "Hey, remember that thing I did last year at the pay-per-view when I
Yeah,
was gonna light Chris Jericho on fire? Like, can we do that in the video game?"
yeah. And Danielson wanted to kill him. Yeah,
Yeah, but they had to do it in a You know what? It probably wasn't a cocktail originally, a Molotov. It was probably originally like, "Hey, pour gasoline on someone, light them on fire," and they were like,
yes,
"That's immature. That's
yep.
immature. What if we do a Molotov cocktail? Those are fun." I was like, "Okay, T for team. It's fine."
Yeah, it was
Uh,
that was the nail that kicked it over. That was the needle mover right there. Ah, yes, just a flaming bottle to the face. Sure.
And then our last little update about AEW Fight Forever is that the game, there's a rumor going around that it will be featured during IGN's Fan Fest next week, which takes place on February 17th and 18th, which I believe is actually this week now. Again, this article was last week. Yes, this week.
4 days. That's this weekend.
Yes, Friday and Saturday. So we could get a release date as early as this weekend.
Right now.
Shadow Drop. I'm really excited for this game. I'm very much looking forward to it. As I know, Forrest, you're looking forward to the Create a Wrestler feature in the Creation Suite.
Yes,
Producer
very
Jeff
much so.
Producer Jeff also super excited for the game.
Well, now I know that I know VTubers can throw Molotov cocktails at each other in my video game. I'm sold.
I think it's all Forrest has ever wanted. You can
It's all
create a
I've ever
wrestler.
wanted. I just want VTubers throwing Molotov cocktails at each other.
That's what I'm saying. You can create VTubers, have them fight each other, and throw Molotov cocktails at each other. This is
10 out of 10.
Forrest's dream game right here.
My dreams have come true.
AEW has saved professional wrestling, and now they've saved video games.
Yes.
All right. Number 5 on our news headlines. A Sony State of Play is rumored to be happening in the near future. This comes from Jeff Grubb on Twitter. Jeff says, I see people keep. Well, so originally he said it on his Games Mess Decides, where it said there should be a smaller, low key State of Play in the next 4 weeks. Sony saves some announcements for a big boy showcase, which should happen before E3, according to Jeff Grubb. Jeff goes on to clarify. He says, I see people keep saying March for the State of Play, but he thinks it's more likely to happen before the end of February. So we should be getting a State of Play in the coming 2 weeks.
That's cool.
Not a major one, but
People
something.
always forget. Like they always announce beforehand, "Hey, this won't be a big one," and then they'll put a small one out, and people will get disappointed. It's like
I feel like the State of Plays are often disappointments, which is not
Bloodborne
always
Remastered.
entirely fair. It's not. It's just factual. People just generally find them to be disappointing.
Yeah.
Blitz
They're
says
gonna
hi
just play
wants a
music.
Blitz says hi wants a Bloodborne remaster, and that is why people get disappointed at these Sony State of Play. See, my point has been proven. Somebody in our chat's like, I just want a Bloodborne remaster at the State of Play.
honestly, that's what every company though. There's always that one thing you want and you don't get it
Yeah, but the problem
every
is,
time.
that
It's like, man, I really hope they get this from this company, and you just don't
but
get
the problem is they use these other companies to showcases usually at least have something. The Sony State of Plays, they generally just don't show much in terms of first party games.
Yeah, they just put on an orchestra.
There you go.
I'm still not over it.
He's still not over it. You hold a grudge.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Last
But
of Us
no, I mean-
2 orchestra, wasting my time.
But I mean, no, I mean the State of Plays they show good games. I've watched every single one, but it's just factual, Dev. They just don't. They usually don't show their first party stuff at these State of Plays. It's like watching a Nintendo Direct without any Nintendo games. Like it's just like there might be some stuff in there that's interesting as hell, but like if we were to take any of the Nintendo Directs you've ever seen, Dev, and you take out all of the first party Nintendo stuff, can you think of any Direct where you're like, wow, that's a great Direct still?
No,
Exactly.
but I also can't think of any like Sony State of Plays that didn't show off.
It
first party
happens
stuff.
all the time. I'm just saying.
You say so.
I promise. I watch all of them. And there's good games. Like, for example, the Resident Evil 4 remake got announced at a State of Play. That was dope. It's not a first party game, though. But, I don't know. Still looking forward to seeing more gaming news. It's always fun. All right. Well, next up on the news headlines, we got a bit of a leak for Call of Duty 2023. Some information about it coming from Insider Gaming. There's been a lot of confusion about Activision's next entry into the Call of Duty franchise as of late, but Insider Gaming has been able to verify with its sources that there will be a fully fledged Call of Duty 2023 title. Previous rumors had suggested the game will be premium DLC for Modern Warfare 2, and although that appears to have been true at one point, Insider Gaming understands that the project changed direction to become a full premium standalone release planned for 2023. As for the content of the title, the details are scarce, but the game will be heavily connected to the Modern Warfare series. If recent Call of Duty titles are to go by, though, expect a lot of remastered maps for multiplayer. Let's see. The games associated with Modern Warfare series would suggest the game could be called Modern Warfare 3, but Insider Gaming was unable to verify the game's name at this time as it's not decided. One key detail about the game, though, is that according to Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, the game will be developed by Sledgehammer Games. This is a key detail that Insider Gaming was able to corroborate, but it's understood that the title is a huge collaborative project across all of Activision's Call of Duty studios, like most of their COD games are these days. Insider Gaming has also been able to verify the year's title is scheduled to have two beta weeks, an early access campaign period, and a full marketing strategy consistent with past premium releases. In addition, they were also able to verify that the next entry will still be released on past generation consoles. That's a major L. That's actually not good. As for current dates, these are the current planned dates according to the source. Beta Weekend 1 will take place October 6th. Beta Weekend 2, Beta Weekend 1, exclusive to PlayStation. More exclusive stuff.
Yeah, Beta Weekend.
Bro, it doesn't matter. It's Call of Duty.
It's a Beta Weekend.
It's Call of Duty. We have a headline coming up that's going to prove my point.
Yes, it's a Beta Weekend.
Anyway, I'm sorry, 4 days, October 6th to October 10th.
Oh, I'm sorry. 4 days. Yeah, that's.
Beta Weekend 2 will be October 12th to October 16th. The campaign early access will start November 2nd, and currently this year's Call of Duty is planned to release on November 10th. Producer Jeff, do you have any thoughts on this change in direction for Call of Duty? Originally, they were just going to do like a premium expansion for Modern Warfare 2, but now they're doing a whole nother game. Do you have any take on this?
Fix this game first, please. That's my entire take on this. I'm like, so have you given up and you're already started on your next project and you're just like, never mind on Warzone 2? Like, is that where we're at? Just giving up?
If they're gonna make Warzone 2 Warzone 1, you might as well just throw Warzone 2 in the trash. What's the point?
Like, so here's how I look at it. It should have never been called Warzone 2 in the first place. It should have been a new map. A whole new map with whole new guns and all that. Like, have you seen how PUBG has stayed alive for almost a decade now by just adding a new map almost every other year?
Okay.
And new guns? Like, PUBG has survived for a decade doing this. And
so I won't disagree with that point. However, Warzone 1, utter dog shit.
Yeah, just fix what was bad about it. You know what I mean? You don't have to make Warzone 2.
Warzone 2, they took what was bad about it and they made it better. Sorry.
I get it, but, I'm just saying, like...
Anyways, we'll get into it, Jeff. We do have a Call of Duty headline for the two of us to kind of tackle together in a little bit.
Nice.
But that was a really good tie-in for us because the next story is about the PUBG developers. PUBG's developers are creating an Escape from Tarkov rival. Late last year, it was revealed that PUBG Studios, the developer behind the game of the same name, was working on an Escape from Tarkov rival. Now, by the way of information uncovered in a financial report, more details on that project have been released. In recent years, the extraction shooter concept has been explored by a few developers, but it's yet to be fully fleshed out. It's a niche that was pioneered by Escape from Tarkov, and since then, franchises like Call of Duty have hopped on the bandwagon that's slowly gathering steam. The title is called, it's called Project Black Budget. Obviously, the game won't be called that, but that's just the code name that they're currently working with. Yeah, I like that. Black Budget. That's good. Sorry, I lost my spot. There we go. This is quoted to be an ever-changing PvPvE open world with satisfying gunplay that delivers unpredictable and existing experiences. I have actually wanted to get back into PUBG. I mean, I stopped playing PUBG when Blackout came out because Blackout was PUBG, but it played well. Plus, it did other things that I really liked. But it was very comparable, at least in my eyes, to PUBG. I don't know. I keep seeing like videos from Escape from Tarkov. It looks like a fun game. I've never played it though.
Yeah, I've
It's
seen a lot
kind
of
of like the
videos.
Gulag, right?
Well, it's like it says it's PV.
It's PvPv.
Yeah.
If you've played Call of Duty's DMZ, which the Call of Duty mouth breathers don't like it, but what else is new? But that genre is picking up steam, dropping a squad of players into a map with both human enemies and AI enemies.
And it kind of works the same way as if you ever played the Division, where like you got to extract their weapons.
Right,
So
yeah.
that's all that stuff's kind of cool. So to
Yeah,
see
there's another one. One of my one of the people I watch. It's called Hunt Showdown.
Yeah, I know you're talking about the horror one, right?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
hard, but you kind of got some powers and stuff, but like it's PvPe
Yeah, it's
VE.
a really cool
And I
genre.
was watching some gameplay, and it's actually pretty dope. Like I don't like that kind of stuff. I'm a little scaredy bitch, but I also was like, okay, wait, this isn't that scary, and also like the moments are kind of funny too. Darker Than Dark is that with D&D mixed in. Okay, yeah, because Darker Than Dark just came out.
Yeah.
That's cool. But yeah, I'm interested to see where this genre goes. I mean, this does feel like the next big hit genre, if you know what I mean, in terms of
Yeah.
shooters. Like Battle Royale was really big, and I feel like this is going to be the next step.
Yeah, the only time I've experienced a gameplay like this is in a Division when you go into the dark zones and you gotta like that you worry about everything. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
TJ says Hunt Showdown is made by Crytek. Really good game. PvPvE. How fast do you think you could say that? PvPvE.
PvPv.
PvPvE.
PvP.
Is the pivot.
Shit, I summoned an Eevee. Damn it.
All right, next up, Remedy has given us an update on their games like Alan Wake 2, Control 2, and the Max Payne remakes. In Remedy's 2022 financial report, CEO Tara Vertala has revealed a few juicy details on the games it has in production, which were the games I listed: Alan Wake 2, Control 2, and Max Payne 1 and 2. Also, codename Condor and codename Vanguard. Here's what they had to say. According to Vertala, Alan Wake 2 will soon have all content in place. It is playable from start to finish. We will then move on to polishing the experience. Alan Wake is a unique brand that holds high value for the company today. Interestingly, Vitala does go on to reveal that the Alan Wake Remastered has not yet generated royalties for the company, but expects sales of the remaster to increase with the release of Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 was announced back in 2021 at the Game Awards, expected to launch sometime this year. As for Control 2, which was announced last year, Remedy now has detailed concepts on the game's vision and all creative areas, including the gameplay, narrative, and art. Vertala says Remedy is pleased with the work the team has done, and as of January 2023, the game has progressed into the proof of concept stage. You were a big fan of Control.
Yeah.
Control was really good.
And Alan Wake,
I love
really
Alan
liked it.
Wake.
I have to finish it. We talked about this. I didn't finish it.
It's on our list, I think.
Yeah.
I love Alan
I
Wake.
loved Control, so
Yeah. Remedy makes such good games.
Yeah.
They are such a good developer.
yeah, they really are.
And you know what? They take their time.
Never played a Max Payne game, but I heard that's a loved franchise.
Yeah. I have. I just haven't played.
I've watched it. Oddly enough, my dad was super into Max Payne,
Well,
and I would
think
watch
about
him play
movies.
it.
Did they make movies for Max Payne?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Okay. Well,
I
there
think
you
it was. I think the movie was Mark Wahlberg.
go. That makes sense. I can see that.
Movie.
I might-
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg. Yep.
I might legitimately looking at a picture too right now. Like that's totally Mark Wahlberg. I totally.
Yeah.
I can't not see it now.
Yeah, it was 2008.
Remedy. They go on to say Remedy's service-based game, which is codenamed Condor. That's a nice. I like that codename as well. That is still in a proof of concept stage. The problem is it's a service-based game, so you never. They're making sure that the core gameplay is solid. We are building the right team and production model for the game, and are patiently progressing with development.
Is that the one that's supposed to be in the Control universe?
I don't know.
Okay.
Another game under the codename Vanguard is also still in proof of concept stage. Vertala notes that in the fall of last year, Remedy decided to delay significant expansion of the development team until 2023 and has kept Vanguard in proof of concept stage. The Vanguard team has made progress and continues to work on core gameplay and meta game development, as well as providing the application of Remedy style narrative and world building. The development team has been strengthened by key select hires. They also say that the Max Payne 1 and 2 remakes are in the concept stage as well. Announced last year, Vertala says the project has made good progress, and that team is looking forward to bringing this beloved character alive again to a new generation of consoles and a new generation of fans. Rounding off the report, Vertala notes that starting from 2023, Remedy will be launching a new game per year, accompanied by additional free and paid content. I'm excited for Remedy. I think they have a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline, and having a game a year, they've really set themselves up for success here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully there's no rush. They make good games.
Next up, this comes from pushsquare.com. According to a survey, Call of Duty is the main reason people buy a PS5/PS4. Yeah. So this is coming, like I said, from pushsquare.com. It doesn't really come as a huge surprise, but Call of Duty's overall popularity on PlayStation consoles is being used as an argument. I guess that this is technically a tie-in. This survey is being used as an argument for the Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition. The surveys, the CMA found that 88% of users buy PlayStation due to the availability of one or more games, and that 88%. A whopping 73% said Call of Duty was that game. It's an interesting statistic, considering that like we kind of tout that PlayStation's biggest thing is its first party releases. I mean, honestly, this is what I've been talking about. I mean, I totally believe this number and I totally believe this stat. I mean, PlayStation pays a lot of money to get exclusive content for Call of Duty every year. They get the marketing rights. They get the first beta, which like that's how they get you. They're like, hey, you want to play the beta now? Pre-order the game. And then you go to pre-order the game, and they're like, oh, sorry, it's just for PlayStation. Like they're trying to manipulate the gamers into thinking that it's only coming to PlayStation, which is asinine. I mean, again, Call of Duty mouth breathers. They're just gonna be like, it must be a PlayStation exclusive game. But I don't know. I thought this was a really interesting stat, though. What are your take on this stat here? That like 73% of the people in the survey they don't care about the first party games. They just want to play Call of Duty.
I don't know. I think it makes sense only because there's more PlayStations out there in the wild. Like it's the same reason why I get why they have all these deals with PlayStation.
Will you?
If I was Activision and I had to advertise on a console, I'm gonna choose PlayStation 5. Why? Because there's 30 million units out there versus the 20 million Xbox units out there. That's a whole 10 million eyes who get to it's a numbers game.
See, I would argue though, the devil's advocate here, wouldn't it be more beneficial for you to make sure that people know that your game is coming to both consoles, since obviously you combine both user bases, it's going to be bigger than any one user base?
Yeah, for sure.
So why would you go out of your way to make it exclusive, seem like it's exclusive to
Because
the PlayStation brand?
People are
You're like, oh man, I have Xbox.
People go to the store, they're leaning towards PlayStation. It's beneficial for both companies. Why is that a bad thing?
Will you finally concede that it is important that PlayStation is paying for this exclusive content? Because every time we talk about it off the podcast, you constantly shrug it off like, oh, it's not that big of a deal.
No, I think it's
a huge deal.
It's business. It's not.
I never said it wasn't business. I'm saying it's a huge deal.
It's not a huge deal for PlayStation to get beta weekends and for you to say that's the same
and exclusive modes and exclusive
oh, I'm sorry, and the skins.
Here we go.
For you to all of Call of Duty is insane.
First of all, I'm not comparing to all of Call of Duty.
You do it every time. You say, oh look, they're buying this commercial. Every time you say commercial on, you're like, hey, but that game's on both systems. Sony's just throwing money. It's like you can't compare that to all of Call of Duty. For the past 20 years, Call of Duty has been the best-selling game for 17 of the past 20 years.
Sure. I never argued that.
It's the biggest game. It's the biggest game franchise.
I'm just saying that this stat proves my point that they spend all this money to lock content.
You're saying
to lock content.
They spend money advertising. Yeah, that's just how it works.
I like how you're spinning this when like every time we've ever talked about it, you're just like, it's not that big of a deal.
Because
it doesn't affect anything. You say it all the time. It doesn't affect anything. It does. Absolutely does. 70%. 77% of
It's
players
not- it
go
doesn't
that way
affect
because of the
anything.
exclusive stuff.
It's not that it doesn't affect it. No different. It's so much different than buying all of Call of Duty. To own Call of Duty is so much bigger than to have a skin and an outfit.
Right, but they've made it clear that
To
it's
play
not going to
for
be
it for a
exclusive.
weekend. Hey, I can play the beta for 4 days before you can.
Sure, but
what does that matter?
they've made it clear that it's not going to be exclusive. They've offered 10-year deals to both Sony and Nintendo.
10 years. That's nothing. 10 years is nothing.
10 years, it's 10 Call of
20 years
Duties.
should be minimum.
It's 10.
20 years.
Producer Jeff is like 70. He's gonna be dead in 10 years.
20 years should be minimum.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I don't mean that.
Or again, the biggest game 17 times in a row in the past 20 years. The only 3 games bigger than that: Red Dead Redemption, GTA 5, and I think Elden Ring. It's 20. Like, come on.
I'm just saying.
So for Sony to buy some skins and some outfits and
wait, hold on, Forrest, what did you do in the chat to get timed out by the Nightbot?
Too much popcorn. So let me, producer Jeff, jump in here real quick. So if anybody's been wondering why PlayStation doesn't want the whole Activision Blizzard deal to go down, this is exactly why. This is literally showing you why they don't want that deal to go down. There are many players left that still don't realize how cross-platform Call of Duty has gotten. So if you got 88% of people buying a PlayStation saying, oh, it's for COD, it's like, do you even realize it's on the Xbox and PC at this time? Like, do you even know that? So that's the whole reason PlayStation is going against this so much, because if they lose completely, like, that's a big deal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, we just lost Rome's video.
Oh no. Why?
He's still here.
I don't know. Open that back up.
I'm looking right at him. He's still in the room. He did not disappear.
No,
Give us-
I'm with this conversation. I've left.
Sony
Give
has
it, Dev, give it to us like it's
You're the
arcade.
Sony assassin. The Sony assassin is taking me out.
He's down. We got him.
They got him.
TJ in the chat saying Devroro, stick it to Rome. I'm not like I don't, there's not a disagreement.
What I'm saying is that a lot of the things that Sony are buying, it's pocket change compared to owning all of PlayStation.
Absolutely, never said that. Never said that wasn't the case.
I'm saying that it's comparing those things to all of Call of Duty, like saying, oh, they're buying the commercial, oh, they're buying the skin, oh, they're putting all this out, oh, there's a map that we can play, and like, yeah, having it for a year. I think you told me they did it for a year for one map. That's a little insane. But
Yeah, modes going.
but we've played times exclusive. This is nothing new, and it's very small
Right.
in the bucket of.
All I'm saying, and I'm gonna keep looking at you now because the camera's off. Producer Jeff, let me know when the camera's off because I like looking at everyone I talk to.
It's off. You haven't come back yet. I don't know what happened.
That's fucking weird.
Check the-
Let me check
Welcome to
stream.
my world.
I'm still live
You're
on the
gonna have to
Streamlab.
be
I
over
don't
it.
know, man. Still there in the Streamlab. Anyways, I'm not saying that it doesn't matter. Like it's not like I'm not saying it's the same thing. Sorry, my train of thought got derailed. But like I don't have any sympathy, is what I'm saying. When Sony is like, I'm more of a like I want to see these companies build themselves up rather than hurting each other. Like I don't like timed exclusives in general. I'm just not a fan of it, and like I'm not gonna get mad for Xbox doing the same thing Sony's doing. Like I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to get upset about it. So when I see Xbox buying Activision Blizzard, number one, I absolutely want Xbox to buy Activision Blizzard strictly because Activision Blizzard is a terrible company.
I agree.
Like Deborah, like
I'm not saying the deal shouldn't go through. I think
I
we
get
all agree that the deal should go through, and I think it will go through. I see why Sony's fighting so hard.
Producer Jeff, I'm gonna leave the Streamlab real quick.
Yeah, leave it and join back in.
I'm gonna join back in.
I see why they're fighting so hard, and I understand it. Whereas you think they're fighting you think they're being petty, whereas I see it as a necessity for Sony, for their company. Like
I think they're fighting. If you're fighting a
especially-
losing battle, you're being petty.
But you have to fight it.
But the thing is that you would have to fight it. Am I back, Jeff?
Not yet. Give me a minute.
Okay, I joined it. Let me know when I'm back.
This whole news story is that, what is it? 75% of people who buy
77.
77 people who buy a PlayStation 5 are getting it for Call of Duty. They're getting that and Call of Duty.
Right.
That's why you fight it.
But here's my thing: if they've made it clear that they aren't going to make Call of Duty exclusive, that's the point where it's not about that. It's not about them
No,
losing Call of Duty.
no,
It's about them losing the leverage of having the exclusive content.
No,
That's what it's about.
No, because 10 years is nothing. 10 years is no time.
That's how business works. All the
Yeah,
just because you don't see it,
And Call
all
of Duty.
business is like that.
Yeah, but
You don't
that's why
sign
you
a
fight
20-year
for it.
contract.
But that's why you fight.
Look
for it,
at football. Outside of Patrick Mahomes, like the best Tom Brady. Tom Brady, you know what his deals look like? 3-year deals, 2-year deals. You don't sign someone to 10, 20 years. That's just not how it
No,
works.
I get that, but that's why you fight it, because there's a possibility this is your best. This is the game that sells your console. There's a possibility that in 10 years you don't have it, because in 10 years if it's somebody else on the with the reins of Microsoft, they don't have to put Call of Duty on PlayStation 5 if they don't want to. They're not legally obligated after that 10 years.
Xbox has made it really clear that like they've been very transparent. You look at here's my thing. Look at Bethesda. Look at how they've handled Bethesda. They have been very transparent from day one how they were going to handle Bethesda. So why would you expect them to do anything different with Call of Duty?
Because Bethesda is not Activision.
Sure, but it's still an indication of how you do business. Xbox has made it clear.
Elder Scrolls, Fallout, that is not Call of Duty. Those games have never been bestseller for a year.
I'm not arguing that, but what I'm saying is Xbox has made it really clear that they care about their partnerships in gaming. We just saw GoldenEye come to the Nintendo Switch. They didn't have to do that.
But that's how you win this battle. That's how you.
We saw Banjo-Kazooie come to the NSO last year. It was already on Xbox. Microsoft did not have to do that.
No, but
they gained nothing.
You're forgetting two things. None of those things you're saying is Call of Duty. You're forgetting how
But it's still the point of relationships in the business. It's
That's
Xbox's business model. It doesn't matter. Like, it does matter how big Call of Duty is.
Yes, it
I'm not
does
saying
matter.
it doesn't. What I'm saying is it's all about the business model that they are presenting themselves. Game Pass is the thing. It's the it.
That
It's
is
the
why
reason.
That is why Sony fights it. That's why you fight it.
But it will still be on PlayStation. So if you have these
For the
PlayStation
next 10
gamers
years,
who
it's
want Call of Duty, it's still
For
there.
the next 10 years, it's guaranteed. But you're gonna say, I'm gonna keep it.
I just don't see Xbox Game Studios changing on this. If they say, hey, we want there to be more places to play Call of Duty, not less. If it's the same thing with Minecraft. Minecraft is still available on everything. And you can say they're not the same thing, but Minecraft is one of the most popular and highest selling games of all time, period. And look at how they've treated the Minecraft IP. Minecraft was bought years ago. Years ago. It was the first acquisition that Xbox made. And guess what's coming out on April 28th? A Minecraft game. Guess where it's coming out on? Everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you know how, again, Minecraft is such a huge IP. Do you know how easy it would be for Microsoft to just be like, Minecraft Legends coming exclusively to Xbox?
It'd be pretty easy.
And you know what? There were a lot of kids who would see the commercial and at Christmas time be like, I want the new Minecraft game.
Yeah.
Dad, or Mom, I need an Xbox because that's the only place to play it. No, instead they're like, we're gonna put it on Switch. We're gonna put it on PlayStation because we don't care.
Imagine if you
Xbox is a very anti-console war stance in the sense that they don't care if you buy an Xbox. They care if you buy their games or if you buy their subscription service.
Mm-hmm.
They want to put Game Pass on PlayStation. They don't want to put PlayStation out of business. They want to be on PlayStation. That's the point. And that's why you're not going to see Call of Duty leave PlayStation. It's just not going to happen.
We had this argument when they first bought Bethesda, and I said, do you think they're gonna make those games exclusive to Xbox? And you said you do not spend that amount of money on a game to put it on other consoles. Again, you do not spend $70 billion on that.
But they're not spending it on one game, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, but of that $70 billion, I assume at least 60 or 50 billion.
It's going to generate that revenue. All that money that Xbox is going to make it.
Like you said, they bought Bethesda. You do not spend that amount of money and put that game on every console, especially if it's a system seller. Call of Duty is the system seller. It is the #1 system seller.
That's fair. TJ said a few things in the chat. Jeff, is my video still down?
It is still down. I cannot fix it without restarting our stream.
Do you want me to move over to Discord?
Yeah, let's see how that works. Because it's gonna split you guys into two. So give me 1 sec here.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm gonna jump out of this Streamlabs,
Yeah, it's fine.
and then I'm gonna jump into the Discord.
It's getting so heated. We're breaking.
Oh man, it looks like my camera is just completely, and even the Discord is not. Maybe it's me. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna
Maybe come.
Yeah, unplug the camera and plug it back in.
Don't forget to blow on it like a cartridge.
There we go. I'm back on the Discord. So, like, again, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying this idea. Like, and I understand your point. You want Sony to fight it because you like they're well, you don't want Sony to fight it. So you're saying Sony's fighting it because they have to fight for their livelihood.
Yeah.
I understand that point. I just don't see it that way. I just don't. I think at the end of the day, Sony is extremely butthurt because they lose the control that they had over the series, which they do. They absolutely do lose that control. But I don't think that, like, again, I'm not a fan of timed exclusives. Like, it's one thing for you to pay for the development of a game. Like, for example, Bayonetta. You look at Nintendo. Bayonetta 2 was not going to happen unless Nintendo, they knocked on Platinum, they gave Platinum Games a phone call. They were like, hey, people aren't buying the Wii U. We really need some mature rated games for the older audience. Okay, well, like, are you guys making a Bayonetta 2? And they said, no, we're not making Bayonetta 2. And they're like, okay, well, we're going to pay for it. Can you make it? And they're like, oh, hell yeah, if you're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And now Bayonetta is a Nintendo character because Nintendo fronts that bill to Platinum every single time.
Yeah.
And now Bayonetta's like blowing up. The director's like, oh, we got 9 games. Oh, we're working with Nintendo money. We got 9 Bayonetta games that we want to make. Like, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's one thing to do that, but it's another thing for Sony to take this work that was made by a completely different entity and put money on it to make it exclusive, even if it's to a certain degree. Like, that's my take on it. Like, I get it. I get why they need to fight it, but I do disagree with it.
Just reading more of the chat.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know to look at the camera now that I'm back. Let's see. TJ says, PlayStation isn't being petty. I think there's a little bit more to that, actually. But said Bethesda, so RIP Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls is going to be on Xbox. Like, but again, Bethesda, they were very clear what they were doing with Bethesda. They made it clear, like, hey, Elder Scrolls has a history on Xbox. We're going to make Elder Scrolls exclusive.
As clear as they're being, you can tell they're using a lot of legal talk. The game,
but no, they're saying like, hey, these like Bethesda games are going to be exclusive depending on the game.
I'm saying with Call of Duty, in 10 years' time, Call of Duty could not be on PlayStation.
I get your point. And like for those in the chat and those watching, like just to be very clear, I play all 3 of the consoles. I have an Xbox Series X, a PS5, and a Switch. I have no horse in this race. I really don't. Like I have all 3 consoles. Call of Duty were to be exclusive to any of them, I would just buy it on that console. It doesn't matter to me. Let's see. TJ says Activision Call of Duty is worth a significant percentage to Sony as per annual reports, which he is correct about that. If that's 30%, then that means the 7% goes to Xbox, that 70% goes to Game Pass, goes to Xbox revenue to get more exclusive games. Blitz says, I can assure you, if PlayStation continues to outsell Microsoft post-Activision merger, that is going to be the trump card. I really don't believe that. I just don't agree. I really don't. Could I be wrong? I mean, obviously, I could be wrong. I'm not. I don't know anybody at Xbox, but looking at what they've done and how they've handled other IP, especially Minecraft. For me, Minecraft is the big telltale. Like, Xbox Series X is being outsold by PlayStation 5. Like, after the Xbox One generation wrapped up, they could have just as easily been like, okay, well, Minecraft's not coming to PS5, but it did. Like, it just did. And, like, no, Minecraft does not move as many units as Call of Duty, but it still is a juggernaut in its own right.
Plus, Minecraft was already on PlayStation 5. They would have to take it off of the PlayStation ecosystem.
Well, you very easily just don't upgrade to PS5.
Yeah, but that's worse than removing something that's already there is a lot worse than not putting something in, like not putting the next one on. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying. Continuing down the chat, TJ says PlayStation isn't being petty. This is good business. Question for Rome: if you were a shareholder, would you expect Jim Ryan to keep doing what he's doing? "Quote unquote petty." Yeah, I would. I would. Again, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, I would expect the PlayStation shareholders to want him to fight it. I'm still
I agree with you that it's a losing battle. I don't think we disagree.
I think honestly, I don't think we disagree about really anything. It's just the severity of the stances. Like, in your personal opinion, do you think that Xbox is going to make? I'm not saying can they. Obviously, they can. Do you think Xbox is going to make Call of Duty PlayStation or Xbox exclusive?
As long as what's his name is at the helm, I don't think so.
Okay.
What's his name?
Phil Spencer.
Phil Spencer.
Phil.
Uncle Phil. Yeah. As long as he's at the helm, I do not think that they'll take it away from other
Okay. But yeah, no, TJ, to answer your question, yes, I do expect Jim Ryan to do this. My only thing is that looking at the evidence that he is doing, it does come off as kind of pathetic and petty. Like, I'm not saying he shouldn't have his concerns and voice his concerns and stuff like that, but when you're bashing Nintendo, when you're bashing like all of your business partners, you're like not Nintendo, but like when you're bashing Battlefield, and I understand Battlefield cannot compete with Call of Duty, but at the end of the day, EA is a business partner with you. Battlefield is a business partner with you, and if PlayStation is smart, they should probably want to work more with Battlefield, considering that Xbox does own Call of Duty.
Especially now.
In the event that that is a possibility.
I agree
So
with you.
I think my point is, I think the way PlayStation is handling it is extremely is not upsetting, but it's just sad. It's sad to see. I'm like looking at PlayStation and I'm just like this is just getting kind of sad and pathetic. We talk about it every week. It's pathetic. First, put more popcorn in the chat. He did not get banned this time. TJ said, Devroro, tell Rome Call of Duty brings 1 billion. Oh, sorry, we're getting caught up. Rome, you're wrong. It's okay. It's fine. Blitz says, I just remember back in the day when Sony was being anti-consumer because Bloodborne, Street Fighter, Final Fantasy, etc. were all platform exclusives, and Microsoft has always suffered from bad first-party development. But now they're buying everything, and it's just good business. So my thing is,
Yeah, because earlier today you said a company should build themselves up, and that's what Sony has done. And this feels like Microsoft's buying their way out. I mean,
so my thing, the reason that I view it as a different thing, the reason that I view paying for exclusives, well, no, not even paying for exclusives, because again, if the game's not happening without you, then you have a right to make it. Final Fantasy 16 is PlayStation exclusive. Final Fantasy 7 Remake is PlayStation exclusive. These games were going to be made if PlayStation didn't pay for them to be exclusive. PlayStation is cutting Square Enix a check, so these games are not coming to Xbox. Crisis Core, Final Fantasy Remake came to Xbox. Like this is that right there is not, for me, it's not the same thing. When you're like, for example, Microsoft, they buy Bethesda, but they are investing their money to make these games. Like it becomes part of their company. If PlayStation buys Square Enix, that's a different story. PlayStation is legitimately footing the bill completely to Square Enix. That becomes a subsidiary of them, and they are making that game. PlayStation is making Final Fantasy. It's not the same thing as Square Enix made Final Fantasy. It's a thing. It's done. It's a game that they made. They were going to make. And then PlayStation's like, well, we're going to make this game exclusive to our console by just giving you money. Like the game would have been made regardless, and that's my.
It would be made regardless, but money helps a game better. You just said earlier that Nintendo paid to have big.
But it would have being made without it. But it wouldn't be made without.
They'll give you money to make this game or make a game better or do whatever. It's only for us now.
So you're saying that Final Fantasy 7 Remake wouldn't have happened if PlayStation didn't pay for it?
No, it probably would have happened if it would have taken longer. Money greases the wheel. It does. It greases the wheel, and in my eyes, Square Enix is a Japanese company. They're a Sony company. I know they're not, but the same way we say Game Freak is a Nintendo company, Square Enix is a Sony company.
And so Blitz said that the difference is Sony is only spending money for the game and not for the ability to hamper competition in the future. But again, I mean, you're seeing it with Final Fantasy. Like, that's the argument. Like, okay, so they paid for Final Fantasy 7 Remake to be exclusive. Final Fantasy 16, also PlayStation exclusive. Again, I don't have a horse in this race. I play video games. Like, you can look behind Dev. This is my game room that Dev is in. Hello, hi. Behind him are PlayStation games.
Oh, you're breaking the fourth wall, man.
No, wait, hold on. I'm gonna like I just want hold on. Go back to you.
Oh my God, chaos.
This is completely blown up. Jeff is having an awful time in the chat. I see it. This is a nightmare for him.
I think it's the technical issues.
Or maybe it is. Yeah, Kayla's coming out. But no, it's like I love video games and I play video games. But at the same time, I'm going to call it out. Like there is absolutely there is a double standard in gaming. Like it is what it is. Like it's just factual. Like you can say there isn't. There is. I play all the games. Producer Jeff yells at me because I make the show script too long sometimes.
We've had an argument before as well. I think the double standard was something that's earned.
Both sides. Like I'm gonna call it like I see it, and like I don't think that Xbox should be making time exclusives either, but it is a different story in my opinion. And you know, you don't have to agree with me, that's fine. In my opinion, it is a different for Xbox to buy Bethesda. Or like let's say Mojang, because I like using Minecraft. I think Minecraft is a bigger hit than Elder Scrolls, so I'm gonna go with Minecraft. Microsoft, they bought Mojang. So at this point, Microsoft is the only person or entity funding Minecraft projects. So at that point, Microsoft has the right to do whatever they want. If Sony bought Square Enix tomorrow, I would have the exact same stance. The exact same stance. There's no double standard for me. It's just how I view these things. If Sony wants to, if they want Final Fantasy so much, buy Square Enix. Buy the rights to it. If you want a Metal Gear game, Sony, buy the rights to it. Like I don't like that. That's my stance on it, and that's how it is. TJ says Roman's right on this. I got one. Xbox can purchase and grow studios. They don't have to grow. Do both. Buy Bethesda. Create the initiative. Exactly.
Yeah.
And they have invested. Like that's the thing. We're not talking. We spend so much time talking about these bigger studios. We're not talking about. We never talk about Undead Labs. How they made State of Decay, and now they're working on this huge State of Decay. They were a small studio. Like you said, money greases the wheels. Microsoft, at the same time, they are making these big acquisitions, but Compulsion Games. They made We Have a Few. That game, I love the idea of it. It definitely suffers from a budget. You can tell when playing it. You haven't played it. It's a decent game. It's a great concept, but not a great game because of the budget. Like you could tell a lot of copy and paste, redoing the same thing over and over again. But now they've been in the lab for freaking 4 years or whatever it's been now. We have no idea what they're working on, but now they have the support where they can make these games. People don't recognize Microsoft for those things. Double Fine.
I think the reason they don't is because a lot of these games, and we keep saying it every time, it's coming, and we know it's coming, but that food is still in the kitchen. It's not out on the table.
I get it.
Coming out to
I
when that happens, the narrative will change.
Sure, I
The
completely
food is in the
understand.
kitchen, we're all hungry.
I completely understand that. Let's see.
I'm gonna jump in there real quick.
Yeah, good.
As long as the games that come out is good, who cares what system, what's on what? Everybody's done this for the history of time forever.
Yeah.
That's okay. Now this is exclusive. Okay, the deal's up. All right, now PlayStation's gonna buy it back out of spite. Okay, and then again in the other future when we're 80, the Xbox will buy it again. Like, who cares? Like, they're gonna just keep flipping hands, and that's what's gonna happen. That's just the new way things are. It's how it used to be back in the day. It used to be loyalty. Now it's legally. So that's the difference.
Yeah. Well, so here's my thing, right? And we'll move on from this because we've gone on for a decent amount of time on this. I'm sure we'll touch on it again as we go on. In the chat, Blitz says, "No, I feel you. I'm pretty platform neutral as well, and I'm probably just butthurt because I own Skyrim on Switch, PS3, PS4, and now I'm locked out. But I do think Microsoft soaking up every AAA dev is questionable, although good for them. So number one, I mean, they're not soaking up every AAA dev. EA is still out there, 2K is still out there, Square Enix is still out there, Ubisoft is still out there. Like, I understand that we're looking at this in like a real well, Call of Duty is a juggernaut, which it is. No arguments there. But so like for me, my big thing about these third-party publishers and AAA publishers, we talk about it on the show. We open the show kind of making shots at them. These AAA publishers that are not first-party developers, they're awful. They treat their employees like dog shit. They release unfinished games. Like, Dev, I would bet money that if you ask me okay, pick 3 companies who are going to put out a good finished video game upon release, I would bet Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I would not bet Activision. I would not bet EA. I would not bet Ubisoft. I would not bet 2K. You can't name. I challenge anyone to name a AAA third-party publisher that you think is doing a legitimately good job in the games they're putting out, the value that they're giving their customers, and the way they're treating their employees. You can't find one.
It's difficult.
And I know this is a very capitalist view, but I'm just going to say it. I really think in the games industry, what we need is acquisitions. I'm just going to say, I know it seems very anti-competition and all that. Or maybe that isn't capitalist. I don't know. Is that capitalist? Is that not? Is that anti-capitalist? I don't know. What I'm saying is, though, I think that Xbox should buy Activision. I think PlayStation should buy Square Enix. I think that Nintendo should buy Sega. Let's just say Sega for the hell of it. Like these companies, like they just don't like these third-party publishers just don't manage themselves well at all.
So TJ said From Software, Ubisoft, which I don't agree with Ubisoft. I don't agree with Ubisoft,
No.
but Take-Two.
I don't consider From Software a major publisher, though. I mean, they're a major. I view them as a major developer who publishes their own games.
He also said Sega and Capcom, which
Capcom's on the come up now, but Capcom was really dicey for a few
I
years.
do think we need companies that aren't like we do need publishers that aren't like we need indie companies. We need these third parties that are on their own.
Mhm.
I like that. I don't know. It's just me personally.
It's a rough spot to be in, and I understand my take might be viewed as a hot take. But I don't know. I guess I'm more so talking about Activision, EA, Ubisoft. There are really good publishers out there. I think THQ Nordic is awesome. Are they AAA? They're not AAA. Will they be someday? That would be nice to see. But right now, they're not. There are good publishers out there. But I would like to see these big AAA ones get the ones that have fucked up completely. Let them get bought so these other publishers can rise. You know what I mean? Like, let's see THQ Nordic take a spot in the gaming sphere. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. My phone died, so you're now the king of the chat.
Shout out Jeff who are scrambling to keep this thing together. There's so many holes in this bolt, and you're plugging all of them.
Jeffrey, the controller.
It's a mess.
Okay, hold on. I have an idea.
Go in the
I'm gonna-
mixer.
Hold on. I'm gonna leave the Discord. Hold on. Here we go.
Alright.
Here we go. Wait, hold on.
Bruh.
Hold on.
Oh, look at this.
Don't slander Ubisoft. They make good games. They fill them with content, just pacing issues.
I fixed it. I fixed
Oh
it. There you
God.
go. What? What?
I now see what producer Jeff Sawyers.
What did
You
I do?
ruined everything.
I do.
Ubisoft does not make good games. They used to make good games.
I am back in Discord. Hold on. Hold on.
They no longer make good games. They stopped
I am-
making good
I'm
games
in Discord right now.
after like Black Flag.
Okay. Anyways.
Also, like, what else do they make besides Assassin's Creed?
Oh, God. See Devroro's face is in half.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
yeah.
I was patting with your shit. This show was supposed to run a little bit shorter, but oh well. Anyways,
I
all
think we
right.
should just move on to the next thing.
We're gonna move on to the next thing.
Go to game releases.
That was good though.
Yeah, I like
that. Was good. That was really good. I don't know if you did the timestamps this week, but that
No.
would be a great video for Jeff to try to put together.
Most of them.
All
Pretty
right.
much anything after
Jeff.
2010.
Producer Jeff, is everything good? Okay, because this next part is really more so for you and me, because these guys don't play Call of Duty. So let's get into it.
Guns go pew!
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Season 2 and Warzone and multiplayer changes. Here's everything launching. Season 2 launches on February 15th, which is in 2 days. Let's start with the Warzone 2.0 updates, and let's run through them, Jeff, and we'll give our thoughts on them. All right, so first up, we have a new map, which is Ashika Island. This is a smaller map for those players that for some reason really like a small Battle Royale map. I don't understand it, but it's a smaller Japanese themed map located in the Pacific Asian region. I have seen that the World at War map Castle is on this map, which is cool, admittedly. I don't really have a lot of interest in smaller maps. Did you happen to catch any of this this new island, Jeff? Yeah. It is a very nice aesthetic. I don't have an issue with the aesthetic of the map. We're not going backwards, but I also just want to touch on the chat real quick about our last point. TJ is saying, "What bad games do Ubisoft make? Think Assassin's Creed Origins is a bad game? Stop, man." My thing is, again, my point about that was, it's not just about the games they're making. Ubisoft is horribly mismanaged the way they manage their people, but they're also horribly mismanaged in the fact that they've canceled like 7 games over the last year. Like, that's bad management. Anyways, moving on with Call of Duty. Just wanted to touch on that because I saw it because I didn't see it earlier. The return of Resurgence mode. Sheik Island is also the new map for Resurgence. Game mode coming back from the original Warzone because we gotta have everything from Warzone 1 and Warzone 2. It will feature solos, duos, trios, and quads. Let's see what else is coming back. We got 1v1 Gulag, which, I mean, we'll argue about this till the end of time. I think that, my response to people that didn't like the 2v2 Gulag is get good. I'm sorry. I mean, you could say that the same argument in a sense for 1v1 if the other player's not there. Like, oh, wow, that was really easy. Like, who cares? Like,
But at least you'll be punished by it. I can see.
in all the time I played Warzone 2, here's the thing. In all the time I played Warzone 2, I don't think I ever ran into an AFK teammate, and I'm being completely serious. Like, I mean, it's just a tale of two experiences. I didn't experience that at all, and I thought the 2v2 Gulag was a really cool idea. I thought that it added a really great dynamic with the jailer when you yes, you're dueling the other two, but when that jailer came in, you had a decision to make. Do you want to squad up with the two people you were trying to kill and get everyone back, or do you want to take your chances and try to go around the jailer? I thought it was really smart, really fun, and you know what? It was something new. But instead, God forbid we tried something new. Go back. Mhm. You sure. Because it's still the point of it, it's adding a layer to it. So here's the thing. I won't disagree with that critique, but my follow-up question or my retort to that is, okay, well, why didn't we try to make it better as opposed to just scrapping it and going backwards? That is the point I'm trying to make. I'm not saying that Warzone 2 I'm not trying to say that Warzone 2 can't be better. I'm just saying, can we not revert back to Warzone 1? That's my okay. Um Moving on. No more backpacks. Season 2 of Modern Warzone 2 players, they realize inventory management in a battle royale, who needs it? Why do we have to hold things? Like why do we have to loot? Why make loot mean anything? Medium and large backpacks have been removed. Um Obviously you can tell I hate this. I just hate this. Like Mhm. Yep. Oh, I think either way, it just hurts the meta of the game. Like again, like looting is the key to a battle royale, and as you'll see with the other things that we're gonna talk about that are changing, they're just taking away reasons to loot. Like, well, my follow up is then why are you playing a battle royale game at that point? It's like okay, well, we're not like we have backpacks as we had backpacks in the loot, so if you wanted to be able to hold more stuff, if you looted correctly, if you play the game the way it's supposed to be played, you will find these backpacks, which will make your time easier, and you will be better equipped to survive. That's the whole point of a battle royale, to survive to the end. And they got rid of that. They sorry, God. Change it. Exactly. Instead, no, I mean I completely agree with you. I think that again, like but the point is
I
that
think
it's
we might
sorry,
be
go ahead.
having technical issues with.
That was my fault. I think I was muted for a little bit there, guys. Thank you in chat.
Oh,
Go
okay.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, Jeff was agreeing with me. No,
Yeah.
I'm because they heard me. Because
Yeah,
they
yeah,
heard
yeah.
me. Jeff was saying that Activision doesn't make the choices there that
Here,
he would make.
I'll give a real quick rundown of what I said. I was saying it's stupid for them to get rid of the backpacks because they're doing it to stop people from stacking self revives. All you had to do was make self revive go into its own slot, right? And then you can only hold one in that one slot for self revive. And then you leave the backpack system the way that it was. But instead, you're going to remove an entire backpack system because you have a problem with people stacking self revives. Whoever's
Well-
making the decisions on how to solve problems has no idea how to problem solve.
I want to play devil's advocate here. What if that is the solution? Because adding that slot that you said just breaks the whole ass game.
But it doesn't.
We
We actually don't know that. It could. They may have built this in a way that it's shit,
Oh.
and if you add something, you're gonna destroy it. I have no
Oh,
idea.
I-
Probably
he's
easier for
more
them to
from
just
a
take out
coding-
the
I think
entire
from a
backpack,
meta
then add a slot to the backpack.
Yeah,
I don't
You
know.
know.
I can't imagine it being that.
It-
I mean,
the reason that I don't
Right,
think it
but-
would be hard is it's already there. The gas mask has its own slot. Make a slot just like the gas mask slot that's for the self revive.
I completely agree.
You know,
But
taking away backpack seems really drastic.
it's just awful, man. Again, they're going back to Warzone 1. They're making it Warzone 1. They tried something new, and I feel like what happened was somebody at higher up at Activision was like, slap them on the wrist, like, how dare you make something new? Go back to Warzone 1. That's how
I have a question for you guys. Do you think going into a menu takes away from a? You see it a lot in these battle royales. Do you
Mhm.
think that takes away from the game that you have to open up a menu to switch stuff around? Would you rather it be more seamless?
Well, and this is the funny thing. This is why one of the things I love about Blackout is I always felt like the menu, like yes, you could hit pause to go into the bigger menu, but in terms of like equipment and stuff like that, it was always kind of easy on the D-pad. But I mean, short answer, no. I don't think that in a battle royale game, like you're going to have to manage your inventory. Like you're going to have to go into your inventory and manage it. That's the point of the game.
But would
So
it be better as like maybe a weapon wheel, like a quick thing that you open up that doesn't take away from everything you see on the screen? Do you think that would be better if that? Because we don't know what they're doing. We know what they're taking away, but I do think you should give it a chance when it comes out. Like you should try.
absolutely, I'm going to because the
Okay.
combat record's coming with season 2. They actually announced that, so I will be jumping back into Warzone 2. Just like I'm going to see how it is, and
Okay.
I'm sure that we'll talk about it here on the show. But yeah, I'm not super thrilled with that. The next change is that they are making loadouts cheaper. Primary weapons you can purchase in the buy stations, their prices have been reduced, as are loadout drop markers. This is another move that I don't like. Again, it's just kind of making it like Warzone 1. So something I hate, I love looting in battle royales. That's the whole point of the game for me. I can't see the argument against looting in a battle royale shouldn't matter. It absolutely should matter. The whole point is that you drop with nothing and you have to
Yes.
loot. For me, Warzone 1, I hated it because looting never mattered because there was nothing about it. Like whenever I played Warzone 1, all anyone ever cared about was let's get money together to buy a loadout and then we're set for the whole game. And I'm just like, what's the point of that? Like why are we not just playing multiplayer? If we want to play with our loadouts, let's go play multiplayer. Call of Duty gunplay is the exact same on either on either thing. So let's play multiplayer. And like let's play the big team games. They're there. They have big maps. It's like why? And so like for me, this is just another step in the wrong direction. I don't know how you feel about it, Jeff, but this for me is just again, it's just making loot less valuable. Like what's the point?
so I actually love loadouts, but I hate the fact that they're making them easier to get. They had already made them easier to get. They're already making it where you get more cash, and now they're going to make it cost less to buy a primary weapon. That's not even a loadout. That's when you go to a box and you buy one of the weapons that you have built in your custom section. You know what I mean? You don't get your perks or nothing. You just buy a weapon. Why on earth would you make that cheaper? It's already 2,500, down from 5,000 when they started. How easy do you want this game to be for people? Like I don't get that one. But this one doesn't bother me as much as the next one we're gonna go over.
Right. And like, so for me, like, and this is a testament to how much I liked Warzone 2. Warzone 2 has a lot of things in it still that I don't agree that Battle Royale should have. The respawning. I don't think Battle Royale should have a respawn system. I think that adds to the challenge, and the whole point of it is to survive and make sure you have to be as on point and as perfect as possible.
Even if the respawning is very difficult to.
But that's why I liked it in Warzone 2, because in Warzone 1, to Jeff's credit or Jeff's point, yes, it was much easier to get back in Warzone 1. Because it was a 1v1, there was no jailer, it was just point blank period, you get the kill, you're going back in. Warzone 2, you do have to hope that your teammate's going to be able to carry his own weight. You do have to worry about the jailer. And I think by making it more challenging, like, you're still getting the same amount of players going back into the game. It's the same thing as having 2 1v1 gulags. But it adds to the challenge of it, which made me more okay with it. Same thing with loadouts. Loadouts were still in Warzone 2. But number one, they were more expensive and they were less frequent. Did I pick one up every once in a while? Yeah, because at that point, that's looting. Like, it's part of the in-game looting, the in-game economy. But like, just to make it as cheap as it is, you're making looting pointless. Like, okay, well, let me start the game, and in the first 5 minutes, I have my gun. Oh, all right, well, there it is. Next up, no more lootable armor vests. Everyone will spawn with 3-plate vests. Again, it just makes looting pointless, and like, I just don't see how that's a good thing. That's all I have to say about it.
So this is the biggest problem that I have with what they're doing. This is the laziest thing I've ever seen. So every battle royale that I have played, except for a Fortnite, has some sort of an armor system. All of them. Blackout had an armor system. PUBG has an armor system. I mean, you name the game right now. There's an armor system where you have different tiers of armor. To completely just be like, yeah, never mind, everyone's going to have tier 3 armor. Well, what? This is, again, going right back to when I said whoever is problem solving this has no clue how to problem solve. No clue.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. It's sad. It's sad to see Warzone 2 really taking a step back in the way that it is. Next up, we have DMZ updates. DMZ is the PvPvE mode that Call of Duty does that players don't like because the bots are on the map. The point. So they say that there is a season refresh with all new missions coming with Season 2. DMZ players get a complete refresh of their missions and includes a clean wipe. The wipe includes a contraband and keys reset, but keeps your insured weapon slots and many other permanent content earned in Season 1 intact. DMZ will feature both Al Mazrah and Ashika Island as their maps to get your missions completed on, but Al Mazrah will have a few points of interest changed for fresh exploration. You can choose whatever map you want, including Building 21, at any time when starting up DMZ. Okay. I mean, I hope DMZ continues to be good. I actually like DMZ.
I love DMZ, and it's actually pretty popular with Tarkov type players. So I hope they just keep making it better and better.
Right. All right. Next up, multiplayer changes. We got some new game modes. Ranked play is coming in Season 2, where you can finally put your skills to the test. Treyarch and Call of Duty League build this mode together. That uses the CDL approved rules, restrictions, maps, and modes with exclusive ranked based rewards that let you show off your skills. This is an intimate 4v4 multiplayer mode that you have to be at least level. IGN has a typo here.
Little typo
level
there.
16 to access ranked. The modes and ranked playlists include Hardpoint, Search and Destroy, and Control. The ranks are Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, Crimson, Iridescent, and then Top 250, where your name will be displayed on a special leaderboard.
I'll see you guys in the top 250.
And don't worry, if a player disconnects or quits during the match, all team members outside of that player's party won't lose any SR, which is the skill ratings. If you do end up losing SR, you can't derank immediately, and you will have a demotion protection for the first 3 games in the new rank division. Let's see.
Wow.
What we got.
So they put something in that nobody else will, yet they're doing all this other lazy shit. They got to be focusing on the next game. I'm convinced.
Probably. Other game modes coming back, and I'm excited about this one. This is actually one of the very few things I'm excited about season 2. Gun games coming back, which, for those that don't know, gun game is a really fun mode.
Yeah.
It basically is there's 20 levels. I don't know if it's gonna be 20 in this game, but there's a set number of levels, and you have to get a kill on each level with that gun. And then when you get a kill, you go up a level to the next gun. And it generally starts with like pistols, and then it evolves and goes up and up and up. Usually it ends with like a combat knife or something like that. In the older games, you could go down a slot if you got knifed, but I don't know if it still does that. Infected is also coming back, which is a really fun mode. Basically, you start out as an infected, and the other team is all the survivors. You kill a survivor, they become infected. It's a 5-minute timer. If the timer runs out and the survivors are still alive, survivors win. Infected have to eliminate all the survivors. Hardcore is coming back, and this is another, like, look, I don't want Call of Duty fans to get mad at me, but like, hardcore's already in the game, guys. It is. It's called Tier 1. If someone can explain to me what the difference between hardcore and Tier 1 is, I would really appreciate it. It is a limited HUD with high bullet damage or low health, depending on how you look at it. I'm sorry. I don't see a difference. Tier 1 is hardcore mode. The fact that they're bringing back hardcore mode is literally people that aren't smart enough to understand that Tier 1 was hardcore. Like, they're just changing the name of it. They're just like, oh, hey, guys, like, hardcore is coming, because you guys don't realize that it's already in the game. Jeff, can you help me out here, please? Like, maybe I'm wrong. To your knowledge, is there a difference between hardcore and Tier 1 mode?
Don't play hardcore and don't play Tier 1. Sorry.
I've played both. I've been playing Call of Duty forever. I can tell you, it's the same thing. Anyone that says it's not, like, it's a complete placebo effect. It's the same thing.
Well, I do know that certain COD Twitter accounts that are pretty big are like, let's not celebrate them giving us hardcore when they should have given it to us from the beginning. Like, they're like,
get that, but it's the same.
Don't praise Activision for this when they should have given this to us right off the bat. Like, there was no reason for them not to.
But all they did was change the name. Tier 1 is hardcore mode. I don't know. New maps, which people are going to be upset about because they're not new maps. Dome and Valdera's Museum are coming for the core game modes. And the Zaya Observatory and Al Malik International for the battle game modes. So Dome and Valdera's are the 2 multiplayer maps, and they are both not new maps.
Where are they from?
They're from older Call of Duty games. One of them was from Vanguard, and then I forget what the other one's from. I'm having a brain fart. But this is kind of a damning thing for me. I mean, you're going into Season 2, and you've yet to add a new multiplayer map to your game. They added Shipment and Shoot House in the last season. Both of those maps were in previous games. I think that, like, kind of like how the Warzone updates, Jeff says they're very lazy in their decision making. I think that kind of bleeds in here with the multiplayer maps. I mean, like, we're going into Season 2 of this live service, and there's
those aren't new maps. Those maps are from other games.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. As someone who's actually enjoyed the multiplayer as well for Modern Warfare 2, like, I love Modern Warfare 2, like, the base game, and like this is just it sucks to see it happen, because I really thought this game was going to be a lot better than the last few, and it's kind of devolving, which really sucks. And that's it for the content coming in 2 days for Season 2.
Okay, so real quick, the difference between hardcore and Tier 1. Hardcore had a limited HUD. Tier 1 had no HUD. So there were no hit markers, there were no kill feed, there was no nothing in Tier 1. And that's where the people were like, just give us hardcore, this is stupid.
I understand, but at that point you're nitpicky. That's super nitpicky.
Well,
like,
having no hit markers is huge. You would have no idea you were hitting your opponent. That's
no, because you still get the noise of a kill. Like,
I mean, from what I'm reading here, it said there was no indication to players that they hit their shots other than the enemy falling to the ground.
I don't know. I knew when I was getting kills. I don't know what to tell people. I mean, that is true now I think about it. Like, I guess, yeah, there wasn't a hit marker on the screen.
Headshots made noise, but regular shots did not.
Maybe I just get a lot of headshots, though.
That is weird.
I mean, I get it, but, like, I don't know. I think
maybe I'm too good.
think it's super nitpicky. Like the whole point of hardcore is to not have the HUD, but now they're complaining that they don't have enough HUD. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's dumb that both of these modes are in the game.
Listen, hardcore is
they
just
need
where
to
all the pros and their friends play, so not like it affects us too much.
No, not at all. But I mean, it's still, it's still just a dumb decision, and that's my problem with it.
Listen, I'm not gonna play Call of Duty until they add terror raids. The best game mechanic ever.
Well, you might be happy to hear the next part of this then.
All right, let's get into the next one. Video game releases of the week for this week. Let's see what we got here.
Oh, he skipped the raid. Okay, never mind.
Wait, what did I skip?
There was a new raid at the end, I guess.
Was there?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. I'm going back. Going back.
Following the story after Price, Farah, and Gats fought through
Oh,
auto.
the new raid. I'm sorry. I apologize. I just didn't see the new raid.
This will pick up where Automatograd.
Yeah, there you go. There's a new raid. There you go. There is a terror raid battle. Later in
No.
season 2 launch.
They don't have bird and grass on their head.
No, but they do have a headset
Oh, close enough.
and hats. They have hats.
Ooh.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Thank you, producer Jeff. All right, that's the news headlines though. Let's get into video game releases for this week, for the week of February 13th. First up, we have Blanc, which is coming to Switch and PC on February 14th tomorrow. That was at the Nintendo Direct, which we will be talking about shortly. Journey to the Savage Planet gets its next gen or current gen, as we look at it now, upgrades to the PS5 and Xbox Series X tomorrow. Souls of Chronos comes to PS5, Switch, and PC tomorrow. Tomb Raider Reloaded comes to iOS and Android tomorrow as well. A lot of games coming out on Valentine's Day. Wanted, Dead. It comes to PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, and PC tomorrow as well. Pharaoh, A New Era comes to PC on February 15th. Returnal gets its PC port on February 15th as well. Shadow Warrior 3 gets its current gen upgrade to PS5 and Xbox Series on February 16th. Theatrhythm Final Bar Line comes to PS4 and Switch on the 16th. I believe that's the Final Fantasy rhythm game. Gigantosaurus Dino Kart comes to PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC on February 17th. Tales of Symphonia Remastered comes to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. I'm gonna stop real quick because it comes out on February 17th. So I don't want to drop names. You guys remember Ricky from high school?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a story to tell here. So Ricky once, we were talking about video games, and he tells me about Tales of Symphonia. He's like, Rome, you would love this game. You would absolutely love this game. You ever played it? And I'm like, no, I haven't. So he's like, oh, I'm going to bring it to school tomorrow. I want you to borrow it and play it over the weekend. Tell me what you think. So I was like, okay. He brought it to school Friday. I took it home, played about 20 minutes, and I didn't dislike it, but I can't remember what exactly, but like I ended up doing something else that weekend. And so like I just didn't play it. And so like I brought it back to school that Monday, and he was like, "Oh yeah, how far did you get? Do you need more time on it?" And I was like, no, I think I'm pretty good. And he's like, "Oh, did you like it?" I was like, "Yeah, I loved it. It was great." I totally lied to him. I lied to him on that day because like I didn't have time to go back to it, and like I was playing something else at the time. I don't remember what it was, and I lied to him. But now I want to go back and I want to play this remaster for him.
If you do,
Dude, you did you wait how many years to tell us you lied to your friend?
now
10 years, 11, 12 years.
And yeah, it's over. It's over 10 years.
no, he has to play
Yeah,
it.
because it was definitely like 10th grade. It was
Yeah.
not. It was not senior year.
No, he has to play it, and he has to message Ricky and give him the truth about how
Yeah, no, you have to send him this as a clip of you confessing.
Say, hey, remember? Yeah. So
At least that's how I remember the story. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I do remember like feeling bad because I was like, oh, I really didn't play this game that much. It's not that I didn't like it. Like it looks really cool, and like even all the stuff I've seen of the remaster, I'm like, I have it. I actually bought it. I have it in the GameCube collection, but I just haven't gotten around to playing it still to this day. And like I don't know if maybe it's like a guilty thing where it's like I can't play it now.
I'm looking at reviews.
It's a very good game.
Yeah, it's a 9 out of 10. Game.
Oh, a very good game. Yeah. Absolutely. I have no reason not to have played it that day. I don't know what I was thinking when I was 13 or 14, whatever, 15, whatever I was. I don't know what I was doing that day. But yeah, I figured you guys would enjoy that story because you guys know Ricky. Now you guys like, you can't tell him. You can't. Like I've been
I'm
living a
literally
lie.
messaging him right now as we speak.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because like I've been living a lie all these years. We went to the Zelda Symphony concert like the next year together. We had a blast. And it's like, no, like you can't like don't do it. Don't do it. Just let it
Did all you guys go to high school together-ish?
Yes.
Yeah. We
I
were
don't.
on
I
the same- we were
literally
in
don't
lot
have
of
a
the same
single
class.
person's phone number from high school.
Oh yeah, no, we were best. We've been best friends since high school.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had fun times in Chinese class.
Bruh.
Anyways,
I only recall Chinese when I'm drunk.
anyways, let's continue on because Jeff's gonna be upset. We've had a lot of long discussions, which is gonna make this show run long. Anyways, real quickly, The Settlers' New Allies comes out on PC on February 17th. Wild Hearts comes out to PS5, Xbox Series, and PC on February 17th as well. I mean, the game for the week for me, my pick is definitely Tales of Symphonia. I want to play that. I feel like Forrest, I feel like Wild Hearts would be something you're really interested in. We talked about it a few weeks ago. It's kind of like a Monster Hunter-esque
It
game.
looks like a Monster Hunter, but also at the same time, I'm actually more interested in Wanted Dead.
Yeah, that game looks cool too.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. I'm watching the trailer right now, and I'm like, oh, it's like anime style, and it's a hack and slash from Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive. And I was just like,
It's very. You can see it's very Ninja Gaiden, like in the gameplay.
yeah.
Did
I'm
you
watching the trailer, but I'm
like
like,
find a list of things on Nintendo Direct that happened?
Yeah, I
just
got some
realized
nice
that
gameplay
my
going
list-
from Wild Hearts. This looks nice.
My list was on my phone, and my phone's dead.
yeah, well, I gotta
Yeah.
see how it goes because if it's too
Oh.
Dark Souls-y,
Yeah,
it's
I was gonna
looking
say it looks Dark
Souls-y.
Souls mixed with Monster Hunter. Yep.
Yeah, which that just sounds like a horrible time.
I'm gonna be honest. It looks like a Dark Souls DLC from what I'm watching right now. This looks like this could easily be a DLC for Dark Souls.
I just sent it to you.
Oh, dude, that damage. Like I can't see this dude's HUD, so I need to see like the damage he's taking and stuff. And like, is there set building? Do I get armor for killing this dude? Like, if it turns out to be another Neo, I'm gonna be pissed. Because
Yeah,
like
it's weird,
Neo
there is
1 and 2 are just difficult as hell.
No, this does look way more. Am I muted?
I think this is a good list. I hope this is a good list. No, you're not.
Yeah, this looks Monster Hunty with the way he's moving, but like, I gotta wait. It's one of those. I'm gonna be a late adapter to it. I'm not gonna dive in head first.
There's people streaming it right now. Maybe check it out later.
It's playing
Mm.
videos. Oh, hold
I
on.
will do that.
All right.
Literally just downloaded darker whatever we were talking about earlier.
This seems pretty legit. This seems pretty good. I think this will be good. All right. We're going to move into the topic of our show, which is the Nintendo Direct that happened this past week on Wednesday. Let's get into it. We're gonna run through everything. Stop and talk where we want to. Not everything we're gonna talk about, but we're gonna mention everything at least. So the show kicked off with Pikmin 4, which number one, very excited. Seems like you're excited as well.
Yeah, I think that's the game that I said I wanted to see last week.
Yeah, you did say that actually.
So, it's cool to see.
Yeah,
And it looks good.
I'm really excited for Pikmin 4. I think it looks really, really good. I like how they kind of lowered the camera angle of it to kind of make it feel almost more like it gives you a better sense of scale, like of just how small you are in this world. Most of the older Pikmin games were a little bit more overhead strategy, whereas this one kind of feels more like an action adventure kind of game, which is always my thing. I really love that genre. The biggest news was the big two things really in the trailer was there was like a dog. You have like a dog now.
Yeah.
And that dog can carry Pikmin around, and you could swim over water with it, and that seemed really cool. We got a release date for it, July 21st, 2023. Yeah, so you're excited about this. Forrest, what did you think of Pikmin 4?
I never played a single Pikmin. I'm so detached from Pikmin. I've never even played Omar in Smash.
You mean Oliver?
Yup, exactly. Oliver.
Oh.
I've never touched Oliver.
Who's your favorite Smash Brothers character? Omar? Yeah, you know Omar.
So I have a funny story with this. So when the original Pikmin first came out, I was like, this looks like it is made for children. I will never play this game ever in my entire life. And still to this day, I have never played a Pikmin game, right? But watching this preview for this game, I want to play it. And I'm like, why do I want to play this now as an adult and I didn't want to play it as a kid?
Typical Nintendo thing where it's like you hit a point where you're like, I'm too cool for Nintendo. But then
Yeah,
you're like, oh, wait a
it's
second,
very
Nintendo's
weird.
So it's funny that you say that, Jeff, because I don't like Pikmin does come off as kind of it does like at a very quick glance come off as kind of a kiddie game, but like
Mhm.
it is not. Number one, it's not easy.
No.
Like I didn't beat it until I was an adult. I'm not gonna lie. I was in my early 20s. Is that an adult?
I
Yeah.
did not beat the Pikmin until I was already an adult.
Until I was already a man. But other than that, like shit gets stressful. Like Jeff. So basically in Pikmin, you go around, you gather these little Pikmin that help you, depending on the game, restore you, like find your ship parts, or like you're looking for treasure, depending on which game you're playing, and they bring them back to your ship. Now, your Pikmin, if like you have to hurry because it's on a daily schedule, and once it turns to night, any Pikmin that you do not like bring back to your base, they get fucking killed and eaten by the monsters roaming the land, and it's like super dark. Like, because like especially if you don't make it to your ship in time, it's like, all right, it's nighttime, and your character Omar, he's running to the ship, and like you just like you take off, and all the little Pikmin come running like, help us, and they just get destroyed. It's kind of crazy, actually.
Kind of dark.
It's much darker than you think. But so yeah, I'm excited for Pikmin 4. All right.
Dark
Moving
Souls
on.
4. I mean Pikmin 4.
What would you say?
They have, like,
No, I
night-
was just making a joke. I was like Dark Souls 4, and then it said
Ah.
Pikmin 4.
Well, that was the other thing that Dev just pointed out. At the end of the trailer, it kind of implies that you might be able to like actually survive at night,
everything just might be-
or it just might be more difficult. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to see. So moving on. Next up, we got a trailer for Volume 3 of the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 expansion pass, which comes out later this month. There was also a sneak peek for a new story coming in Volume 4 later this year.
Have either of you two played Xenoblade Chronicles? Because this seems like a game that both of you would like.
I really want to play. I own 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, this seems like.
Oh no, I don't own 3. I own 1 and 2.
It seems like a game both you and Forrest would like, but I don't think you guys have played it.
I
played the
never
3DS
touched
version.
what is this? Tales of Zephyr? What?
No, Xenoblade Chronicles.
Ah.
It just seems like a you game and a Rome game.
I think it would be. So my thing was is that when it came out on the 3, so originally the first one came out on the Wii, and I never had it for the Wii. And then the second, they ported it to the 3DS, and I played that for like an hour, and it's a really bad port. So I was like, oh, this kind of sucks to play. And then it came out on Switch, and I got it because I was excited, and I just didn't get around to it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I just never did it.
I just never did it. But yeah, so it's DLC coming for those that like that game. Next up, there was a new Samba de Amigo game from Sega. Apparently, this is a franchise. I have no idea. This is a
I've heard of it.
Wii ass game. This game was.
This was the start of the direct where I was like, where things got a little.
We got off the rails.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about it. It's kind of like I said, it's a Wii game. You basically are moving the Joy-Cons around to do dances, high fives. Apparently, it has a love match on it. I guess as good, depending on how good you are at the mini game, is how truly in love you are. Not much to say there. Next up, the Forest's game of the show, Fashion Dreamer, a game that you have your influencer and you dress them up.
Yeah, I mean this doesn't sound.
This looks like the worst shit ever made.
It really does. It looks like a phone game, dude.
It was terrible. It looked terrible. I was like, what? I was like, so I was excited for Pikmin, and like kind of like what Dev said. At this point, I'm like, oh, Pikmin, hell yeah! And it's like, it's Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC. All right, cool, good for them. And then it's like this Sega monkey muchachas game, so whatever.
Yeah.
Like, all right, this is getting bad. And then like Fashion Direct, I was like, crash. I was like, we got to get back on track here. Hopefully,
I'm sure this game's out there for someone. Like someone. Will
Oh yeah, that's the whole point of directs. There's everything on here is appealing to somebody. Next up we got Dead Cells Return to Castlevania, which never played Dead Cells. I don't like roguelikes, but like, damn, this looks cool.
Yeah, I like roguelikes. I didn't like Dead Cells, but I do like roguelikes in general.
I don't like roguelikes.
This looks pretty.
Yeah, it does look really cool, and the music was really good too. Next up, there was Tron Identity from Bithell Games coming to Switch in April. This game I thought looked cool, interesting at best. Never gonna play it.
Yeah.
There's no chance I'm playing this game.
I'll never play this game.
Not
because I hate it or anything like that. I just don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just not happening. Capcom's murder mystery series Ghost Trick returns with a remaster of the first game. It comes out this summer. A lot of people got excited for this. I remember hearing about this game. You basically you play as a detective who died, and you possess items. It's a puzzle game basically, and you possess items to get through the puzzle and like I guess help this detective that's still alive get through like each level. Next up was Level 5's Deca Police, which comes out on Switch this year. Excuse me, this year. This looked like almost like a Forest-ass game for me.
Yeah, I saw Deca Police. Like I was skimming through it because I didn't watch it live, so I was just kind of rolling the bar with my finger, and then I saw Deca Police, and I was just like, oh, like I stopped and I watched it.
Yeah, I think this game looks really cool. Actually, it seems like a kind of a detective game, a supernatural detective game, but also has some turn-based strategy elements to it, which
Really reminded me of Digimon.
Yeah.
Like
it has.
Cyber Sleuth. I don't know why, but
No,
for
it-
some
it has-
reason it just made me think of Digimon Cyber Sleuth.
I agree with you. It has big Digimon vibes. Like the monsters that you see, some of the characters' outfits, like some of the characters, the way they look themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
yeah. But so I thought this game actually looked pretty good.
Yeah, I might get it.
I will be playing this game.
I gotta see.
Yeah,
I gotta see how it goes.
There's so much stuff coming out this year that I think this is going to be a casualty of just like I don't know when I'm playing it. It might end up on my this will end up on my Amazon wish list. This will be a game that like at the end of the year, if you're getting me a Christmas present, it'll be on the list for you to buy. But that's not a bad thing.
I get it.
I'm generally kind of restricting myself this year to save some money. So like if this was like if this came out like 2-3 years ago, I actually probably would buy this. But this year is just so packed.
Yeah.
And you got
All
the
right.
Bayonetta.
Next up was Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon.
This actually looks really cool.
I'm
I'm
really
gonna play this.
I have to play Bayonetta 3 because as of right now, I'm getting this game. I really love Bayonetta and I
Okay.
want to support the
Is
franchise.
this going to be your March game, or this is going to be something you're doing? You're going to.
So there are going to be some instances this year where I'm going to double dip. That's just going to be the way it is. I think this might be a double dip
Okay.
because I think Resident Evil 4 remake is March. It's either March or April. Depending on Resident Evil 4 remake, that'll be. But like this, I love Bayonetta.
I've never been a big Bayonetta fan. To me, this looks.
This is another like not this one specifically, but Bayonetta in general, Forest-ass game. We talk about it all the time. He would love Bayonetta. It's a very Devil May Cry game with Bayonetta, who is such a cool character. Like
Never played anything.
breaks my heart. He would love it. He would absolutely love it. I would bet money on him loving Bayonetta. It'd be great, but he won't do it. But I'm really excited to play this. I need to play Bayonetta 3 first.
This game looks cooler to me than Bayonetta 3 does, just personally.
Well, I mean, it's because doing something different, but I also really like that they're doing something different with Bayonetta. It's really cool. So yeah, this comes out on March 17th. Next up, they did one of those. So they got through the headlines and they're like, "Take a look at this," and I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go," because that's usually one of the big, the big announcements. They stop and they do like all right, here we go, and it was a Splatoon 3 expansion pass, and not only that, the wave that came out was the Splatoon 1 hub world.
Yeah.
And I was like,
It's called Side Order.
no, that's wave
the
2.
second one, right?
Yeah, wave 1 is Inkopolis, which is just like it's just the hub world from Splatoon 1. And the direct did a very bad job of showing me if there's anything other than the hub world in this expansion. I like Splatoon, I really do. If they're selling the first game's hub world as a wave of your expansion pass, that is a complete failure of DLC.
I don't know.
It really,
You gotta
is.
see, like you said, they failed to tell you what was in it. You got to see what the content is. It
No, they just that
could just be new stuff in the older city.
I don't know, but I
If you
found
like-
it to be
if you
extremely.
like Splatoon 3, I don't think you're scoffing at this.
I think you are.
You think so?
Maybe not wave 2 because wave 1 again. This is just the way they showed it. It just looks like the hub world from the first game, with the shops intact. Like that's all that it was. Wave 2, they went to when I like Splatoon when it gets a little weird, and the Wave 2 was weird. It was a very interesting, unique kind of thing. The name of it's called Side Order. It was very WTF. But I was very underwhelmed by this announcement. We'll talk about it because there's a general theme in this direct, which I'm sure people listening will kind of figure it out as we go. But yeah, that was their middle of the direct, more so big announcement. Forrest, any takes on the Splatoon 3 expansion pass?
No. Thought about it. No, I gave up on Splatoon 2. Like I played it and then I just stopped. I was like, okay, it's children's Call of Duty.
I think Splatoon's really fun. I have Splatoon 3. It's in my backlog right now. But
I think it was like one of the best-selling games in Japan.
oh, it's super popular. Yeah.
It's crazy popular there.
Well,
I'm curious about the next game because I actually think it looks really cool. But
what, Side Order?
no, the next one that's coming. The next one you're about to.
Oh, next game. Yeah. All right. Next
Real
up.
quick, I do want to throw one thing in about Splatoon here. So if anybody thinks that they are good at shooter games and you've never played Splatoon, you will be humbled immediately by like a bunch of 8-year-olds. They will absolutely annihilate you in this game, and you'll be like, "What is happening?" It's the funniest experience ever.
People think Splatoon is like for babies. Like, go play it. Go play it. I dare you. Go play it. It's a great game. I love it.
They will destroy you.
I really do love it though.
It's a cool mechanic that I don't think I've seen before. It like paint the world.
Paint the world.
Yeah.
That's Nintendo. That's what they do. They innovate. They're just like, hey, we want to make a multiplayer shooter. Sony should take some notes. It's like, hey, we should make a multiplayer first person or a first party shooter. Anyways, next up, Disney Illusion Island, a platformer featuring Mickey Mouse and his friends. It launches on Nintendo Switch July 28th. This game looks good.
Yeah,
I think it looks like a really good game.
Yeah, it does.
It's not my cup of tea. It's not for me, but I can respect that this looks like a really good game.
Art style, gameplay wise, yeah.
I think people are gonna write this one off because it has Mickey in it, but like,
We'll see. Yeah.
well, no, I think people are gonna write off as a really kiddie game, but like, I think it looks great. Just not for me.
Oh, it looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Plus, you can tell they put effort into it because they were showing like each character, even if they have the same moves,
It
like
looks different.
it looks different
Yeah.
and it behaves a little different. I think this game looks really good.
This has a little bit of Sonic vibes going.
A little bit, yeah. I was never a Sonic kid either, so there you go. Next up, we got the Fire Emblem Engage Expansion Pass Pack 2, which came out on the day of the Direct. They also teased Pack 3 and Pack 4. Pack 2 was, so basically, I'm currently working on Fire Emblem, playing it. I think I'm going to be ready for us to review it for next week's show. I'm really enjoying it so far. Not going to go too far into it. But, yeah, Wave 2 adding a few characters, including Camilla from Fire Emblem Fates, one of my favorite characters. Soren from, I believe, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. I'm drawing a blank. I know Soren, but I forget which game specifically he's from. In Wave 3, we're going to get Chrom and Robin from Awakening. I forget her name, but the character from the mobile gacha game. And then Hector from the GBA Fire Emblem game just called Fire Emblem here in the States. Also big Hector fan. I think this DLC is really cool. I don't want to go too far into how the emblems work because it's going to be part of my review. I think that if you really love Fire Emblem, like I do, it's a decent amount of content. But Wave 4 is what I'm waiting on. I'm probably not going to buy the expansion pass until Wave 4 because that's a whole story DLC.
Okay.
But yeah, it's cool. If you're a Fire Emblem fan, this is pretty good. Next up, there was a announcement for Harmony Fall of Reverie. This was an announcement from them. This is a surprise, one of the very few surprises at the Direct. This came from the team at Don't Nod, who made Life is Strange. I'm a very big fan of Don't Nod. I think this game looks really great.
They made this. I don't know what the gameplay loop is or anything. They made this look like it was cinematic. Everything was cinematic. It just looked awesome. I like the art style at least.
Yeah,
I don't know what the game is or how it plays or anything like that, but at least the trailer was pretty cool.
Everything just looks like anime now. Like
yeah, I was gonna say that it looked like the next a big Netflix series or something.
Yeah. Yeah, but so I I'm a big believer in this game just because it's Don't Not. I mean, they're a really good team. Life is Strange is just phenomenal. If you haven't played them, I recommend them. Specifically, the first one's really good. But so yeah, I think this is going to be a really good game. Comes out in June, by the way.
It looks extremely interesting.
Yeah.
All right,
Power
next up,
AI.
we went to. Oops, sorry.
No, I was just looking at the characters and stuff. Dude, damn. This looks like, you know what? It kind of reminds me of. It reminds me of Life is You said they made Life is Strange, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like Life is Strange mixed with Hades.
Yeah, a little bit. The way that they talk to each other, the conversation style, very Hades.
Yeah. All right, next up, Octopath Traveler 2 was shown off. There's a demo that came out on the day of the Direct. So, guys, I'm actually in a little bit of a dilemma. And I was going to bring this up on the Direct. I'm going to let you guys help me kind of decide because I'm kind of 50-50 on it. Octopath Traveler 2 is the game that I'm buying this month. I'm very excited for it. Should I get it for the Nintendo Switch or should I get it for the PS5?
Ooh.
I'm so completely 50-50 on it. I feel like I'm leaning Switch just because I would rather collect Nintendo games just because I love Nintendo so much. But the PS5 obviously is going to be the more powerful system to play it on.
I'm gonna say PS5 strictly for visuals because this is already a beautiful looking game.
Sure.
And to play it maybe higher resolution, higher like faster frame rate. I know it's a turn based game, but still, it's just a pretty game. And I don't know, pretty game, a more powerful system on your TV. I would have to lean this towards.
Okay. Of course. What
Do you
about
get anything for having a save file?
Well, so here's the funny thing. I have it for Switch, but I ended up playing it on Xbox Game Pass because it came out on Game Pass. So it's funny because I played the first game on Xbox, but it's not coming out on Xbox for some reason. So that doesn't matter. But I own the first game on Switch. I have the physical copy behind me on Switch.
Are you gonna do that thing where you play the game before to then lead up to the new one?
Not for this game, no.
Then also just because for Switch, Octopath Traveler was originally made for Switch, right?
Yeah, it was a Switch game.
I say get it on Switch.
Oh shit, we got
Like I agree with Dev on the visuals, but like I don't know, I feel like this style will work on the Switch. And also it would be nice that you could like pick up and play your RPG. You could to like the bathroom.
He's never gonna play handheld. We just had this conversation.
Yeah, I don't play it handheld. Yeah. It's gonna be played here.
It's gonna be on the TV no matter what.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't play handheld at all?
No.
I just never take it anywhere. Like I've used it on handheld before. It's not like I never use that feature, but it's generally I play it at home.
Yeah, but you don't like go around and play it at different spots in your house?
No. But even if I did, we have a Switch dock upstairs because the wife plays Switch too.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how we are. We have 2 docks.
We got 2 docks. All right. Well, producer Jeff, this is a tiebreaker. Please influence my purchase. What do you think I should do? Should I get it for the PS5 just for the graphics, or should I get it for the Switch because I already own the first game on the Switch?
Well, I'm kind of confused about the graphics part on the PS5 because it looks like a Switch game. It doesn't look like it has incredible graphics. I'm not too sure.
Well, I mean, it's a gorgeous game, but it's going to run. But PS5 is just much more powerful than the Switch. It's going to run better on the PS5, most likely. That's
I mean, it's like a pixel game almost. I'm not sure what you're expecting out of the performance of the game. You know what I mean?
That's fair. So it sounds like you're leaning Switch.
Yeah, absolutely Switch.
All right, there it is, folks. You've heard it here first. I'm going to pre-order the game tonight for the Switch.
I don't think it's a lose-lose situation. So.
Oh no, I'm gonna love the game regardless.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. All right, let's move on with the Nintendo Direct. That comes out February 24th, by the way. Very excited. Next up. And I wanted to point out that I loved that this segment for the Direct. It's just totally cheesy. Like it's like we're gonna have you rolling for these games, and like it was spelled like role playing. Okay. And so they start with Octopath. It's like, oh, it's a role playing game, and then they go into freaking Katamari Damacy. We Heart Katamari Reroll Plus Royal Riviere, which great name by the way. Love the Japanese game development game names. It's just so good. This comes out June 2nd. It is it's a remake of an old Katamari game. Going back to the role playing theme of, I just love how they just like, all right, we need a place to put in Katamari. Rolling, put it with the role playing games. Next up, we moved to Sea of Stars, which is a retro turn based RPG. Which that's a romance game right there. That's a Rome game.
It looks really pretty too.
Turn based RPG, freaking retro graphics. I'm very interested in Sea of Stars. This game looks really good. And they said that the composer is like, I guess, a legendary composer. I didn't really catch what games he worked on, but good music too. That's also a big plus for me. Next up, we got
That's an August game, right?
Yes. Oh, thank you. Launches August 29th. Next up was what I coined as the direct game of the direct. Omega Strikers, a free-to-play air hockey multiplayer game, launches on Switch April 27th. I can't you see this kind of game on every direct.
This one actually looks really cool. I don't know if it'll blow up at all.
I was like, whatever.
It looks pretty cool.
I was like, okay, Mario Strikers is already on the console. Why would you need to play this? That's just me. Next up was Etrian Odyssey Origins Collection, a remake of the 3 games in that series. A lot of people excited about this. Not gonna lie. I guess maybe because it's a Sega game. Never played any of them. Never even really heard of the franchise.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I haven't heard of it.
A lot of people were hyped though. A lot of people online were hyped about this.
It looks like an old PC.
It does. It's kind of like it's like one of those really old RPGs where it's like a first-person dungeon crawler kind of game.
Yeah.
Really interesting for those that want it. It comes out on June 1st.
What the heck? It's like a Doom. It's like the original Doom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's got one of those old school I think Dragon Quest used to play like that, I think. Like the old Dragon Quest games. Anyways, next up finally happened. Advanced Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. The wars of the world are over. I just need the world to keep its shit together until April 21st. I just need the world to calm down. No more wars. No more shooting down UFOs. Like, Nintendo's going to be like, well, all these UFOs, we have to delay Advanced Wars again. Yeah. I want Nintendo to release a statement that says Advanced Wars will never release until world peace is achieved. And at that point, I need to run for president of the world. Because I'm dying for Advance Wars 1.
I like how they just showed a cinematic trailer. Like, no more gameplay, none of that.
Absolutely. I caught that too, where it was just like they were like, okay, we need like some animations. Because those aren't from the original game. Those are brand new animations. Like, they definitely spent the last year like, okay, guys, we need to make war look fun. He's like, Andy's the little mechanic guy. Andy's working on a bike. Max is punching the punching bag. Sam is just riding around on a tank and it's a joyride. Look how fun tanks are, guys. Like, I was like, okay. But I don't give a fuck. The game's coming out April 21st. Thank God. Super excited for Advanced Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp.
Real quick on that UFO thing. I hear a bunch of people saying, oh my God, I think it's aliens. And I'm like, if you think one of our airplanes can shoot down an alien, you're out of your mind. Sorry.
Yeah, that is, well, they're saying UFOs because that's what it is. It is an unidentified flying object.
It's the original meaning behind I get what you're saying.
Correct, yes. But it's not an alien now.
I've heard people say like aliens. They're like, are those aliens? And I'm like, you're a moron.
No, I know. Next up, we got a trailer for Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. This is a remake of a Wii game. Demo came out the day of the Direct, and this game launches on February 24th. It includes a brand new epilogue that was not in the original game. So I'm just going to say it. I loved Kirby's Forbidden Lands that came out last year. Mm-hmm. It's getting to the point where there's too many Kirby games. I'm sorry. Like, Kirby's a really cool franchise, but you do not need this many Kirby. They launched 2 Kirby games last year and another one this year. And the year before that, I believe there was 2 games that came out that year. It's too much. It's too much Kirby.
I don't think it's too much.
It is absolutely too much.
I think if you're a Kirby fan, you're eating well. I don't think it's too much Kirby. I had the same complaint about Pokemon. We had 3 Pokemon games in a year span, and you said,
yeah, but it's Pokemon.
Let Sakurai live his best life, okay?
Sakurai's like, I fucking love Kirby, guy.
He's been denied Kirby. They've been sticking him in a Smash Brothers room. Let this man.
Look, I'm not hating on the game. I'm just saying I think there's an oversaturation of Kirby games. That's all I'm
Is
saying.
this
I'm
even
not buying it.
Kirby? What is this?
What?
This doesn't look like Kirby. That ain't Kirby.
No, that's the character that's going to be in the epilogue. And they believe his name is Magalore.
Okay, so it's not a Kirby game.
It is a Kirby
Magalore game.
Kirby is the star of the entire game. It's just this epilogue that has Magalore.
It's in the Kirby universe.
Nah, it's Magalore.
It's the Kirby cinematic universe.
Bruh.
That was a big one.
Oh, yes. Next up, we got a really cool surprise that I was extremely hyped for. The Game Boy Color games are coming to the Nintendo Switch.
None of which are Pokemon.
Yes. So my original take was, give us Pokemon, you cowards. It's unfortunate, my phone died. I had my notes on here. But I was like, give us Pokemon, you cowards. And then at the end, they were like, Pokemon trading card game coming soon. And I'm like, you bastards.
Okay, well, Pokemon trading card game actually kind of hype.
No, it is. I think we're absolutely going to get Pokemon eventually. I think that they're waiting. Pokemon Day is this month, so we might get that announcement sooner than we think. But
Sure.
we'll see. The games that are coming to Game Boy are Tetris, Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins, The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening DX, fantastic game by the way, and Gargoyle's Quest. There were more games announced, but unfortunately my notes were on my phone and my phone's dead, so I'm going off of what I'm looking at right now. Other games that were announced to be coming soon, I remember, were the Zelda Oracle games, Kirby Pinball, so more Kirby.
Oh, another Kirby game.
Metroid 2 is coming on the service. The original Kirby's Return to Dreamland.
Borderland 3.
Borderland 3, thank you. Did you look up the list? Oh, that's not. I thought we were looking at the same thing. I guess not. Or you have the video playing. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
But also Game Boy Advance games.
Yes, that was. So here's the thing: Game Boy Advance. Fucking love the Game Boy Advance. Like, what a great system. God damn it, Forrest in the Discord. The Terror Battle joke is over. Now it's gonna be Kirby every day. It's like, or Kirby in a Terror
It's just
Battle.
every week it's a new way to torture you. He finds a new.
It doesn't work though. The thing Forrest doesn't understand is I torture myself. I don't need help. But anyways, yeah. So Game Boy Advance games coming to this service. Real quick though, Game Boy games, really cool. Got to give them their props. You could play these games in the Game Boy version, the Game Boy Pocket version, or the Game Boy Color version.
Yeah.
Each game. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Also, they offer online play and local play, so you could play Tetris 1v1. Like, I just want the Pokemon games. Like, I just want Gold and Silver and Crystal on my Switch, please. The Game Boy Advance games were announced as well. Games coming out: Mario Kart Super Circuit, The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, and do you have the full list? Because that's all that this is what I'm.
Mario and Luigi's Sega.
Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
Superstar Saga.
Great game.
Let's see. We also got.
Oh, that's big.
Metroid Fusion.
Metroid Fusion, great game.
Another Kirby Amazing Mirror.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem.
So Fire
F-Zero.
Emblem is coming soon. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
coming.
It's not, yeah, these aren't the ones that are going to be.
So the coming
same
soon
day.
games had me super hyped because Fire Emblem. I love that game.
Yeah,
Like
F-Zero.
a game or like
Golden Sun.
Golden Sun. yeah.
Golden Sun. Let's go. Golden Sun is a great game. I'm so excited. But so I'm really happy. So the Game Boy games are on the $5 or the base tier for Nintendo Switch Online, whereas the GBA game and the Game Boy games are on the expansion pass tier. I think this was a great move for them. I think you have to add value to your NSO service, which Nintendo's doing a very good job with doing. My biggest critique is I hope that when the next system comes out, we don't reset. Keep the NSO, keep what they have, and just keep building. Please do not reset this again.
Come on, it's Nintendo too, so you
They
gotta-
probably will. They will. And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Absolutely gonna buy it.
Okay.
I'm gonna pay for it.
But at least you'll stop paying for the Switch one. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it'll just
Yeah.
balance out.
Yeah.
But yeah. But so this for me was the biggest announcement of the show in terms of a surprise. Because the
Yeah.
next one coming up, we argued about this for months because Jeff Grubb said this was coming. You were like, I don't know if you should believe Jeff Grubb. Metroid Prime remastered, announced, and shadow dropped.
Yeah.
And that's how you know they were done the game for a long
And
time.
this is another thing we argued about. I didn't think they were going to do a pack for Metroid the same way I don't think they're going to do a pack for Zelda. Those are too big. Those franchises are way too big. You can make a lot of money.
Either way, it's fine. I'll buy them regardless.
Yes. But I was surprised still. Like,
This was so cool. I'm waiting for the physical version, which is coming out here in the States. So they said February 22nd.
it's the 3rd of March, I think.
That's in the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're looking at Eurogamer right now
Okay.
for this list. But so it comes out February 22nd, the physical copy. Although Amazon was telling me the 13th, but today is the 13th and it's not here, so I don't fucking know. But I'm very excited to play Metroid Prime Remastered. I've heard nothing but great things about the remaster specifically. People are really loving it, and I'm very excited to play Metroid Prime with like 2 sticks.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Can't wait to play this. And that shadow drop was huge. At this point, I got back to riding high. Direct was not doing so hot. He got back up there though with Game Boy Advance, and Metroid Prime. Still had an issue, but we'll talk about it. Next up, we got another actually pretty cool game called the Master Detective Archives Rain Code. It was kind of like this was another one of these, like it was like a supernatural detective game. Apparently it was made by the minds behind the Danganronpa series.
Yeah. My wife is very excited for this. It's the next new game in the it's not connected to the Danganronpa series, but it's similar and it's the same guy. You could tell it's his art style.
Okay.
Like
yeah, this looks great.
everything he touches, you can tell it's him.
This does look really cool. It has a very like Persona vibe to it.
Yeah.
Which I think is also
I think June's kind of packed for me already, but this is another game that's going to end up on my Amazon wish list. Like,
Yeah, I know the wife is gonna get this. She's been on this thing's like I think it got like loosely just like a title got shown, and she was like already on board.
Cool. Yeah, they actually showed this off before the direct. This was shown somewhere else. I think it was the last direct, wasn't it?
It was maybe no, it was the one before that. There was nothing on it last direct.
Okay.
I did see this.
Okay.
Before.
Yeah, this was shown before.
It was
All
shown
right.
once, and it was just like Code Rain or whatever, and then now you're getting like gameplay trailer.
Yep. And this launches on June 30th.
Nice.
Next up, we got remasters of the GameCube RPGs. Batten Kaidos 1 and 2 are coming out as Batten Kaidos 1 and 2 HD remaster. I own these games. They are expensive as fuck.
Really?
They are very expensive games.
What do you own them for? GameCube?
GameCube, yeah.
Okay.
They're part of the GameCube collection. See, during the pandemic, I started collecting GameCube games, and I also kind of dipped my toes into the higher echelon of GameCube collecting, the more expensive ones, because I didn't even play these games before, but I was like, oh, well, they seem very sought after. So, like, I was like Thanos. I was like, Finnegan. Skies of Arcadia, very expensive. I paid over $100 for that game. I remember sitting there with the wife, and I'm like, should I buy this? And she's like, if it makes you happy. And I bought it. It was great condition though. It's really it's excellent condition and very rare game. So very happy with that. Anyways, yeah. I like that we're at the point now where we're getting GameCube games getting remastered. That's exciting for me. I want to see
Keep
all
that ball rolling.
the remaster.
Gale of
all
Darkness. Gale of Darkness.
I want Chibi Robo.
So that's a really expensive game too. That game's crazy. I don't own that one. That's really expensive.
Yeah, Chibi Robo is so.
It's like $300. Yeah, it's expensive. It's very rare. Very expensive GameCube game.
If they remake that, I'm buying that for sure.
Yeah.
Did I give you Chibi Robo, Dev?
No, I don't think you Chibi Robo.
GameCube, one of the greatest consoles of all time.
It really was.
I'm just gonna say it. It gets a lot of hate because it looked like a purple lunchbox. That console.
That was literally the point.
The best Mario parties. I love that console.
I won't go that far. The N64 has the best Mario parties. So now you're
That's one of the best Mario Karts.
Now you're making me seem like a
Really
fool because
cool.
now you're making me look out to be like I'm wrong when I say the GameCube.
No, I agree with you. The GameCube was amazing.
No, I mean, like, it had the best Zelda games on it. Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Majora got ports too. The Majora port sucks, but it's still on there.
One of the best Mario Karts with Double Dash.
Double Dash is very good.
Double Dash slap.
Melee is the third best Smash Brothers.
Second.
That's fine. I'll give you that.
Melee still is played religiously.
I understand that. Subspace Emissary though is so fucking good. Brawl is better than Melee because of Subspace Emissary. Don't even care.
Maybe from a story standpoint.
We've been here too long.
Okay. Next up, level 5. Another surprise from them. Fantasy Life The Girl Who Steals Time comes out this year. Nintendo Switch.
It's good. It looks like an Animal Crossing.
Yeah, with combat. Animal Crossing with combat was what I had in my notes. And then this was a big surprise because this is a very well-known franchise. I've never played any of them.
I love Professor Layton.
Yeah, we got a new Professor Layton from Level 5 as well. Level 5, that studio, man. They had like 4 games announced at this direct.
I'm getting this for sure.
Yeah, Professor Layton and the New World of Steam. Yeah. You know what would be really ironic if this game comes out on Steam? Professor Layton games are on Steam.
No.
Be like the New World of Steam.
I wonder how it'll work because I played most of them on DS and like having the touchscreen there. That's how you played most of these games. So I'm wondering how it's gonna work on a single screen console.
Yeah, I don't know. Next up was Wave 4 of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass DLC. It's notable because it's adding a character for the first time in the Booster Course Pass. Yeah. It adds Birdo. So good for them.
Long live Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
I mean, hey man, they're making it really hard to make a Mario Kart 9.
Yeah.
Like and all these DLC maps or these courses all available with the expansion pass.
Yeah.
Crazy. But it's great. And then lastly, we got a trailer for The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. This looks incredible. This looks so good.
I'm so excited for this game.
I'm so excited. They announced an amiibo. Already have the amiibo pre-ordered. They announced a special edition. They broke my heart. Scalpers got them. Yeah, I really wanted it. But
how much are they reselling it for?
I didn't even look at it. I refuse to give in to scalpers. I won't do it. I won't even look. So if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. But apparently retailers didn't take in-store pre-orders either. Like, because I was going to go to GameStop because I was off the day after the direct. I was like, oh, I'll go to GameStop. I saw online like no physical stores had them. I was like, damn, that sucked. That really sucked. But this game looks incredible. Yes, this game is going to be $70. I will pay $70 to play Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah. This game looks just absolutely incredible. I mean, obviously, I have a bias. I love The Legend of Zelda. I'm so excited. Ganondorf's in this game. I think Zelda dies in this game.
I love the map. It's just everything about this game just looks.
It's just incredible.
So cool.
I like. The Legend of Zelda is just perfection. Like, it's just perfect. Like, I mean, I wasn't a fan of Link riding a John Deere, but other than that, like,
it was so good. Dragon wheels.
You know what people on the internet were saying? It was like it reminded them of Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts because he's driving around on like those crazy cars. But I mean, other than that, like, yeah, this game is going to be incredible. I can't wait to play this game. It's gonna be so good. So that was the Nintendo Direct. So here's the thing, right? There were some things on this Direct that I really liked. I don't think it was a good Direct overall. I think that there were no surprises, really. No, there weren't.
You don't count Metroid Prime Remastered as a surprise for
the Shadow Drop, sure, but the fact that
or the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games, that's kind of like we weren't expecting that.
We knew they were coming. We knew they were coming. But okay, so like here's the thing. That's a big thing for me. Yes, the Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance games, absolutely big thing for me. Big surprise in terms of when they were coming. And I'm very happy that they're coming, and they're here. I'm very happy that we have these games now.
When you say no surprise, you mean nothing.
My thing is,
you knew everything was going to be coming. You just didn't know.
Well, so my thing is, when I say no surprises, like let's look at the first party announcements. It was Pikmin, it was Splatoon expansion pass, it was Metroid Prime Remaster, it was the Game Boy, the NSO editions, and then it was Zelda. We knew all these games were coming. Obviously, Metroid Prime like wasn't officially announced, but like when you have so many leakers saying the same thing, you know it's coming. I had zero doubt that this was a thing. Am I hyped for it? Absolutely. Am I hyped for Pikmin? Yes. Zelda? God, yes. But like, I think that this Nintendo Direct is a clear sign that we are currently in the last year of the Switch's life cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, like, look at what they're doing. Like, it's a bunch of expansion passes for existing games. I think Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is their big swan song. I think that Pikmin, it's coming out in July, and that's technically the swan song. I think Zelda's the last big game for this console. Maybe like I think Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I think they're going to have an expansion this year for the holiday season. I don't think we're getting a new Pokemon game this year. I think that this is going to be it for the Switch, and then we'll get the next Nintendo console next year, like first half of next year even. Okay. What were your thoughts of the direct overall?
While watching it, I was like, man, this is kind of a drag. Like they showed like a good thing, and then it was like a lot of games I just didn't care about. But I feel like the highs definitely beat the lows. I think this was a good direct. I won't say great, but this was definitely a good direct.
Okay. Well,
They put dates on things that were coming this year.
so what would you give it as a grade?
B minus.
Okay. So 5.
Yeah,
So B minus.
I give it a 6.
So for me, because I didn't grade it, there's a lot of cool stuff on this direct. Metroid Prime, the NSO editions, Zelda, like the NSO games themselves are adding Zelda games. So it's like in terms of like what was actually in the direct, like regardless of whether it was a surprise or not, it's a pretty decently high grade for me. I mean,
I'm gonna change to B plus.
Like with it, like not taking surprises into consideration, I think it's a B plus. I think the lack of surprises, which like that's kind of what the directs are like really centered around. You usually get at least one big surprise. It leans B minus, maybe C plus, but yeah. So I'm gonna kind of center in on a B, which for me is a disappointment of a direct because directs are usually A's for me. Like I very rarely do I look at a direct and like, man, that was terrible, or like, man, that was just okay or just good. Forrest, what did you think about this direct?
For me, a lot of stuff just didn't hit. I was like, okay. There's maybe
Except for the
Huh?
except for the fashion game.
Yeah, oh yeah, the fashion game, let me tell you. No, just a lot of stuff didn't hit for me, and I was just kind of like, okay. The Mega Man Battle Network port was actually kind of hype because we used to play that a lot at the in high school at the what's it called table, the lunch table. So that was hype. The Metroid Prime, dope. Upon rewatching it with you guys as the stream has gone on, I was more down on it, and I was gonna be like, dude, this sucked. Like, who gives a crap? If I don't care about Zelda and Pikmin, this wasn't worth watching. Whereas now I'm kind of like, okay, well, actually, some of the stuff in the middle was pretty good. I still don't care about Zelda or Pikmin 4, but I do like that there is 3 Kirby games coming out. That's gonna be dope this year. Can't wait for that. Not gonna play any of them. I'm just gonna point it out for the rest of the week. And then, yeah, just it was okay. I'd give it like as a great man once said, I'd give it a 6,
Which is a B.
which is a B.
B's across the board.
Producer Jeff, do you have any thoughts on the Nintendo Direct?
Well, to be honest, that was the first Nintendo Direct I had ever watched from beginning to end. And so I was a little confused. I mean, I guess I wouldn't say confused because I understand they have to show all of their games. It just felt so all over the place for someone who's never watched one before that I felt like I was like, man, I'm going to leave and come back in 20 minutes when they show the Zelda thing. Like, it was just weird that it went so all over the place. I feel like they should have different videos focusing on genres, but it is what it is. That was just my first time. That's all.
Yeah, so
That's a very Nintendo thing too. Like the Nintendo
organization.
is always kind of like, I wouldn't say jarring, but they're very diverse.
once you watch them, you kind of get into the swing of it, where it's like, okay, they open the show with like a first party thing, usually a big thing, and then they do a bunch of headlines, just quick trailers, kind of rapid fire through some trailers, and then they come back and they do another big like trailer announcement, which was the Splatoon thing this time, which wasn't big at all, in my opinion. And then they go and they do like some other trailers, which usually there's like some sort of very loose theme, which this time it was like role playing, but also they threw Katamari in there. And then they end with usually 1 or 2 big segments. But so yeah, I can see why you thought it was all over the place, but that's kind of generally how they're structured. You get used to it. Do you want to give it a grade, Jeff, or are you just cool with just your thoughts?
I'll give it like a B minus.
Okay.
That influencer game really put it on a downturn. That game should have been right before Zelda. You should have saved that to the very end
No.
and then put it before Zelda.
No, you'll never see a game like that there. You'll never see a game that high on a direct. But I get your point.
He wanted it to be the piss break match.
Yeah.
He wanted it to be the quarter 7 of Dynamite match. All right. Well, yeah, that was the Nintendo Direct, guys. I think we generally enjoyed it. Again, I think it's kind of the end for the Switch, unfortunately, which is kind of sad. But also, hopefully, we get a better Switch, more powerful Switch.
Soon.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about that at some point this year. What we want from our next Nintendo console. All right, Dev, Forrest, you guys got anything else you wanna add to the show?
I think we're done here.
All right, let's let producer Jeff go to bed. This has been episode 14 of the Game Room Podcast. Thank you to everyone hanging out with us. Please leave a like and a subscribe. And while you're at it, go check out some of our other videos. We talk about video games every Monday night here. We also talk about pro wrestling, more specifically AEW. We have our AEW Dynamite Wednesday review, and we also have our Rampage Friday review. You can follow us at our social medias down below in the description. Do not follow Forrest on Twitch. He does not like people follow him. In fact, he gets very upset. He cries. He often cries while he's doing his terror raid battles. Blitz, thank you for hanging out with us tonight.
Blitz.
Really appreciate it. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Peace.